because Rocksteady employees also sit on OMG's board. And again, you can see how there's a little bit of a conflict of interest here, where people are sitting on a board of a DEI firm for consultancy and enabling DEI, while also working at the game company. I just kind of feel like, they're going to make sure they inject DEI. If there's a compatible company connected to them, these people on the board working side by side with them, it's a major problem in the game industry. Then we get to Safe in Our World, and additionally, the influence extends far beyond everything else that I was talking about into awards and recognitions. And according to Savvy, Safe in Our World is yet another DEI-driven organization serving as yet another financial pipeline for these groups. Get into more awards. We got Outstanding Diversity Network Award for outmaking games, and I said they don't rest. Every inch they're given.
Let's see how much I can get done on this. Starting a little later than I should have, but I'm ready to rock.
These groups rely on corporate compliance to remain relevant. So now
I got over half of it done last night, or yesterday.
But even that has a problem of just bringing back old franchises. Like that one Halloween was pretty good, the 2018 one. And then they did the 2 sequels. I'm like, no, you didn't have to do that. You could have stopped doing that.
2018 actually, you're right. 2018 is really strong.
Yeah, it's great.
These corporations are now like, look, no, you need to put those censorships back in
Future,
place,
the
because
Chinese
that is
audience,
what
and we're partnering with Chinese production companies, and now that's pretty much done from what I can tell.
Part of me's happy because they were ruining our movies with that. There were so many movies that were like, and here's a Chinese character who can barely talk, who we have to put in the movie to please the Chinese audience. I'm like, oh my god, what was the Independence Day 2 had one of those scenes. Where it's like, we're the new team, blah, 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 and they're like, I'm the Chinese, but they literally have like the Chinese flag behind her, and I'm like, we know what you're doing, Hollywood. Like, this is very obvious. Or like even movies I like Godzilla versus Kong, it somehow ends up in like Hong Kong at the end. I'm like, really? We're going to Hong Kong? I'm like, okay. And there were a lot of movies that ended up in Hong Kong. Transformers 4 was one of them. So yeah, that was like something that they were trying, and I don't think it paid off. It probably paid off in the short term, but Star Wars failed there big time. They kept trying to make Star Wars like a thing there, and it just wouldn't take off. But because they were pandering to China, they also had to make every movie like 3D, and I think people got annoyed by that. Because I feel like, what was the Chinese mandated? It needs to be like in 3D. And
oh, really?
Yeah. So I think that's why.
Possible, even though the internet is forever, and in most cases, it's been archived anyways. But hey, they're gonna run and hide as much as they can. And then I finish it off saying, is Grand Theft Auto done for?
3D and
oh, really?
Yeah. Sell millions of copies no matter what.
So I think that's why like I said, I really like horror. Horror is in like a fun little area right now because it didn't have to appease a Chinese audience. They are low budget. They can experiment more without being like huge failures. But even that has a problem of just bringing back old franchises. Like that one Halloween was pretty good, the 2018 one. And then they did the 2 sequels. I'm like, no, you didn't have to do that. You could have stopped doing that.
2018 actually, you're right. 2018 is really strong.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. And then other movies tried to rip off that. They did that horrible Netflix Texas Chainsaw movie, which was just a rip off of Halloween 2018.
A huge shout out again to Madam Savvy for the insane deep dive that she did,
which was just a rip off of Halloween 2018.
Because holy crap!
Now they want to try it again with other movies. I'm like, no, stop. They're gonna do that with I Know What You Did Last Summer. They're like, oh wow, Jennifer Love Hewitt. It's gonna be like her Halloween 2018. I'm like, speaking of a bad movie, I like that movie. I'm like, I love that movie, but I don't want to see this. And if I don't want to see this, no one's gonna want to see this.
And make sure you never step
yeah, China was like, because it was like, Hollywood was like, this is a...
But these days, it doesn't seem like that's happening.
Yeah, China was...
And they know their number is up. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Again, if you guys want more information, check out Smash.
You're going to want to see this.
I'm going to publish it as soon as I upload this video. You guys
China was...
Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing.
I'm trying to get rid of every sniffle.
See this? No one's gonna want to see this.
Got it.
China was like, because it was like, Hollywood was like, this is amazing. You give us all this money, we get to sell our movies to this huge audience.
Get the blood-root plushie for review too, says Stu K. Vito showed me his plushie. I said, that is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Vito's plushie, I said, there's something wrong with you. You're a retard that you made a Vito plushie. A Vito plushie. See, plushies would be like, I want you to think about what a plushie is, okay? Like, a plushie would be like, you're watching a cartoon.
They give us all this money.
Winnie the Pooh is so cute. This is like a kid thinking, Winnie the Pooh is so cute. I wish I could just hug Winnie the Pooh. And boom, here's a plushie. Here's a stuffed animal that a kid can hug.
We get to sell our movies to this huge audience. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
And Josh has like, we don't really need
wants
you
to
guys.
hug Vito.
Yeah, they're like,
real
we kinda
life
just like our own
or ever,
movies.
Or in any way. Does anyone,
We
especially
really need
not
you
kids.
guys.
Kids
Yeah,
should
they're
not
like,
be hugging Vito. Vito making a plushie
We don't
of
really need you
himself.
guys.
Does it smell like Vito? The worst idea imaginable. Almost like disgusting. Almost a disgusting idea. I would say it's actually a disgusting
Yeah, they're
idea.
like, we kind of just like our own movies.
Making a plushie of himself. And I get it, in a way, it's like he's sort of making fun of the Zeros, and the Zeros are all making... Like, who would want to hug Gary Neurotic? It's disgusting. What are you kidding me? Disgusting. Who would do that? And yet they're Gary Neurotic. So I get it. I mean, I understand he's kind of making a joke here, but you know what? It's like the joke hit too hard. It's not funny to see a Vito plushie. It really is repulsive and repugnant.
To this huge audience. This is wonderful. And then Josh has like, we don't really need you guys.
Yeah, they're like, we kind of just like our own movies.
I was like,
welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neil.
Ah.
I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Like, we kind of just like our own
And
movies.
we're going to talk about Marvel. We're going to talk about
I was
Daredevil
like,
Born Again on Disney Plus. Now, if you know the whole story behind Daredevil Born Again, the original take was reportedly so bad that Disney went back and reshot most of the series.
Well, it was so bad they fired the directors, hired the showrunner who did The Punisher, and redid the entire thing.
Right. It was, yeah. What we didn't know was, like, how bad actually was.
We really need you guys.
Daredevil. And
Yeah, they're like, we kind of just like our own
Rob Liefeld,
movies.
Deadpool co-creator.
I was like,
he was hearing it was supposed to be a comedy, like She-Hulk.
Also, it showed like,
Because of the She-Hulk BS.
Because that's exactly what people wanted. That's exactly what people expected from Daredevil, right? And they're even saying now they're kind of like retconning the whole She-Hulk thing, like that didn't happen. We're going to talk about that, and then we're going to talk about Vincent D'Onofrio, the Kingpin, replying to Rob Liefeld's theory that it was a comedy. Now, Rob does know a lot of people in LA, and he hears a lot of things, of course, being the Deadpool co-creator. So, there's a lot of these. And he's also taken Marvel
find out
to
what
task.
you're doing.
We're going to do another video talking about Captain America, that he's basically like
Ever dreamed of feeling like you're on your own private yacht?
Audience. This is wonderful. And then Josh has like, we don't really need you guys.
Yeah, they're like, we kind of just like our own movies.
I was like, whoops.
Also, it showed like Hollywood how much of like hypocrites they are.
Yeah.
Because here they're talking about how progressive they are, and then you look at their Chinese posters, and they're like, take the black guy off the poster, put a mask on Black Panther, do this. It's like, well, we see you doing it over here.
Anyway.
And then you're saying all this stuff here, so I feel like people just stop trusting the studios. Not that they should have. I mean, they're in entertainment, but it was just one of those, just like, guys, you can't like pander to us and then do the complete opposite for another country. Like, we know what you're doing. With the internet, it's easy to find out what you're doing.
Yeah, not to get engaged to gamers, but I think this they don't quite zoom into the real issue there. But it's like people make this mistake of thinking that these huge industrial size entertainment companies are their friends because they're like, we'll talk about your pet issue. When it's like, no, you're just like any of those franchises. You're just there to be kind of useful for them. They don't really care. It's not.
Of course, they went with the continuation of what they liked because it sounds like if they had gone this way, they could have just flushed it down the toilet the whole way.
Yeah. So
they don't really care.
Let's talk about this before we get into anything further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rant. You get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
If you want notifications,
you're just like any of those franchises. You're just there to be kind of useful for them. They don't really care.
We're doing this because
it's not political in the sense that they're shaking sides. It's more like, well, we think this is popular and we could benefit by it, and that's it. That's all they
that it's there. You'll
care
get an email notification. You will not miss any videos. And because I actually had somebody come to me like a week ago. I was like, I haven't seen your videos in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's like, well,
and they were honest
I can't
about
do
it.
anything about that. So.
Hey, unless we're sick, there's going to be updates every day. Just keep checking the page if nothing else. Anyway.
Yeah, so check it out, clownfishtv.substack.com. So this is coming from Total Film, Games Radar. I guess they just kind of like absorbed all these websites into Games Radar. As Deadpool co-creator claims, Daredevil Born Again was originally a comedy. One of its stars says the creative overhaul was because they knew what the fans wanted. Well, if it was a comedy,
benefit by it, and that's it. That's all they care about.
Yeah. If they were honest about it,
coming show Daredevil Born Again is set to be an all-out action series.
It's like, hey, look, we put him on the poster too big. They won't play the movie there.
The show was originally set to be a comedy before Marvel Stuntman took over.
All they care about.
Yeah.
That's probably
if they were honest about it,
it
would be fine.
She-Hulk and the way that they said there was
it's like, hey, just like, hey.
Yeah,
all they care about.
The fact that they had to scrap pretty much the whole thing, the fact that they were setting the tone with Daredevil showing up in She-Hulk and doing the walk of shame,
and that's it. That's all they care about.
If they were honest about it, it would be fine.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like, hey, just like, hey, look, we put him on the poster too big. They won't play the movie.
Show. It's got to be the same tone. I mean, a lot of people were not happy with Kingpin in Hawkeye. They thought he was too light in Hawkeye. And I actually agree. He was wearing like a Hawaiian shirt. I'm like, what the hell? Vincent D'Onofrio has since set the record straight, saying the reshoots were all down to showrunner as Dario Scartapani.
About it, it would be fine.
Prior to the Marvel brass,
it's like, hey, just like, hey, look, we put him on the poster too big. They won't play the movie there.
They brought in
we have to shrink them, blame China, and everyone would be like, yeah, that probably is something that they would complain about. Instead, they just kind of ignored it.
I know, yeah, the Captain. I did see that recently. The Captain America 4 at the theater for in China, they had the big.
Yeah.
Well, I even know what you call it. It's the big
action impression. Phil Presario, Phil Savard, who literally reshot every episode.
52, 42, Brave. Oh, fuck.
The new episodes, even the action scenes were written by Dario, our showrunner.
52, 42.
Right. Phil came in with his
Brave,
expertise supporting the stunts.
New
Restart, and we all worked hard with the fans. Charlie, myself, and Dario, the producers in the studio, heads felt
Cut
like
out.
what the fans wanted. That was our goal.
Well, honestly,
I even know what you call it. It's the big part.
Standee.
The new
Yeah,
model,
the
because they
standee,
worked on the
and
Netflix
it has
show, which was popular.
Yeah,
the big part.
And that's the thing, because again, if it's totally different, even if it's boring, I mean, it's one thing like
Standee.
Daredevil had
the Standee.
Had some slow scenes, right? But it also had the
they had
like
the big.
the hallway fight.
Well, I even know what you call it. It's the
They
big.
always build up to something. No episode of Daredevil
At the
except
theater
for
for
maybe
the
season 2
in China, they had the
no
they had the
episode
big.
really felt wasted.
Well, I even know what you call it.
It
It's
didn't feel
the
like
big.
filler, again, except for season 2. But like I heard that it was really slow or whatever. So.
They had
so
the big.
That was D'Onofrio.
Well, I even
he said
the
he
fuck?
didn't address the comedy element of Liefeld's claim, though. That may be true.
But it's probably true though, because he said that's not what fans
Well, I even know what you call it. It's the big.
Right. So
part.
you gotta watch it. Sometimes celebrities will.
Yeah. Well, I even know what you call
They
it.
play it cagey because they can't give too much away. They don't want to look like they're crapping on or whatever. But he didn't say, no, Rob, that's not true. It wasn't a comedy. He said they.
In China, they had
we
they had the
knew
big.
what the fans were expecting.
Well, I even know what you call it. It's
what
the
was shot
big
was not what
part.
fans were expecting. Actually,
Yeah,
what
the Standee, and it has big red Hulk. And then
we were hearing, if I remember correctly, was a lot of it was going to take place in the courtroom. And it wasn't going to be. There wasn't going to be as much.
Yeah, the Standee.
Pretty much. So they did bring back Heron and foggy. I think I don't know if they were supposed to be in it
The big
originally.
hard
standee.
Yeah,
Cardboard
the
standee.
standee, and it has Big Red Hulk, and then it has Anthony Mackie, but Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
I hope they don't do that. I'm very PO'd if they brought it back just for that reason.
So March 4th. It's coming out on March 4th, and I might actually watch this one.
Oh yeah, we probably will watch this one.
You know, I loved Daredevil. I loved all, you know, actually all those shows.
In China, they had the,
The
you know,
only
they
one
had the big.
kind of fell flat
Yeah.
with me.
I don't even know what you
was
call it. It's
Iron
the
Fist
big
and
hard
I would say
standee.
the
Yeah,
Cardboard
the
standee.
standee, and it
second
has
season
Big Red Hulk,
was not great.
and then it
Yeah,
has
watch
Anthony
all of it.
Mackie,
We
but
didn't
Anthony
watch
Mackie
Yeah, we got
shaded
halfway
out.
through it. I'm like,
It's just like a
no,
shadow
I'm not
figure.
gonna
I'm like,
we know
whoa.
what's gonna happen. They bring Iron Fist back. It's gonna be like he has to pass the mantle of Iron Fist onto an actual
Great
Asian
Wall, like,
person
had Matt
because he
Damon
can't be
and
Iron Fist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
But
now they might not do that. A year ago maybe, but now.
maybe.
I
Well,
don't
he
think
kind
anyone
of
saw.
did with Colleen, right?
Yeah, but honestly, she
you
was.
know.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
No, I don't want this.
Anyway.
Shit. Yeah, he was kind of a putz. But
God
anyway,
damn it.
So yeah, that's apparently what's going on. It's supposed to be a comedy. And D'Onofrio did not deny it.
No,
He
he
just
didn't
kinda
say,
danced
"Oh no,
around
that wasn't true." No, he just basically said they rewrote it. They did new action sequences, and they were trying to give fans what they knew they wanted. Which
It was funny though,
basically
because
says to me
early
it's,
on
you know,
people were
by-
complaining
you're not
about
admitting
like
it, but by omission that you're
these Chinese movies that
saying
had
it's
like
true.
too many white
Oh my
people
God,
in them.
so comic book
And one of them
movies,
was like
now
the
they're
Great
all laughing
Wall,
about
like it
it.
had
They're
Matt
all trying
Damon
to get-
and stuff.
like Bo
But then they
DeMeo,
learned that
Life
they're like,
of
oh no,
Gus
the
spends most of
Chinese
his time
producers
online sharing
paid
his
for
issues
them
with
to be
company.
in the
When they-
movie to
when
make
they
the
were
movie
going to
seem
listen
for a
to his
piece.
podcast, for example, is called Marvel.
It was funny. They're like,
How
oh, what
Feige
is this
Lost His
cultural
Fastball.
appropriation?
Feige
Like,
never
or
had
whitewash?
fastball.
It's like,
Feige
no,
had
apparently that was
management
China's
when he had to do it
idea.
himself.
They're like, no,
He
put
dropped it.
Americans in our movies so people go see our
So what
movie.
if Rob Liefeld
I don't know how
saying
well
this,
it
it
worked
honestly
here.
tracks.
I don't think
Given
anyone saw
She-Hulk,
47
Given
Ronin.
the fact that they were
The
saying
Great
it's going to be a
Wall.
very different Daredevil.
I
it was
think
basically
I
a
have
reboot.
seen.
You
I
weren't
don't
gonna
think I
have
went to
Karen
theater to
Foggy
see
in
it though. I
was
think I
new
actually
in
have
terms of
seen
different than
47
Netflix. And all that stuff. And then they completely scrapped it, brought all new people in, and redid it to make it for what the fans would want and make it a continuation. Tells me that likely it was true.
Yeah, I
It all
believe.
kind of lines up.
Yeah, because they were setting it up with She-Hulk. Like we're gonna have a kinder, gentler,
See
funnier.
it though. I think I
The
actually have
doctor
seen
didn't say it
47
wasn't
Ronin.
true.
No, he
They apparently like our robot
we already
movies, though.
nerfed
The Transformers did
Kingpin and
super well
Hawkeye.
overseas.
So I'm like, and
I don't
watch it
understand
because,
people that like Transformers.
He wasn't the same badass he was in
I
Daredevil.
don't understand
Right?
people
He
that
shows
like
up with a
Transformers.
Freaking Hawaiian shirt. I'm like, come on. You know, come on. This is no. This is not what I want to see. So anyway, we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna wrap this up.
It's just a
Please subscribe for more pop culture
just-
news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Overseas.
Yeah, I don't understand people that
Carl
like
never really thought
Transformers.
much of his grandson.
It's just a different
Until he got
species of
credit
human, I
cards
guess.
And used the stores to store joy. Life is less humble abode. Intuit credit card. Karma you can count on. Download the app today.
Whoa.
Well,
then they
it
flop.
looks like Captain America Brave New World finally fell from the sky. Or, as some people would say,
Is a human, I guess.
Well, that's where I guess that's where like diversity helps that because there are so many cultures around the world that love cars. So that had like a global appeal to people. So you have
So,
sci-fi
Brave
action,
New
which
World
like
peaked
kids
in
would
its
like
second
with the
week,
robots,
earning just
and then you have hot
$28.3 million
cars that everyone around the world would like, and they had hot babes. That's why I think Fast and the Furious does so well. That's why I like to kind of shit on the anti-woke people. Like diversity, blah blah blah. It's like no, but sometimes it does work out. Like Fast and Furious has like a huge actor from like every single ethnicity that will play well in their country, and it's focused around cars, which everyone likes.
You feel better now?
So that's why I feel like those franchises are still going. Although Transformers, the last two, I don't think did well, which is ironic because they were the best ones. Like they finally did two good ones, and then
Honestly, this is probably the happiest
they
they've
did well,
been
which is
since the last
ironic
Snow White
because they were
update.
the best ones.
Now, before we look at the numbers, let me just get this out the way, because I know somebody's going to say it. No, I'm not pulling down my first video, because the movie actually did do well its opening weekend. And no, I'm not going to admit I was wrong, because I said in both videos that it was possible a movie could still flop.
I'm sure you already knew that. That's what turns me on about you. Your attention to detail.
As for the numbers, from the Hollywood Reporter, quote,
It's ironic
last
because
weekend,
they were the
Brave
best
New World
one.
came in ahead of expectations.
Like, they finally did two good ones, and then they
flopped.
flopped.
Over the long Valentine's Day
It's
/
that bad
President's
movie
Day
thing.
weekend in North America, including $88.4 million for the 3 days. Globally, it started off at
And then they flopped.
$192.4 million after
It's that
launching
bad
to
movie thing.
$92.4 million
Yeah.
internationally. This weekend, the superhero pick earned
movie
another
thing.
$35.3 million overseas for a global tally of $289.4 million. In another article, Variety compared Brave New World to previous MCU outings. Quote,
Two
it's
good
not
ones, and
uncommon
then
for
they
comic book
flopped.
tentpoles on a scale of
It's
Captain
that bad
America
movie
to
thing.
significantly slide
Yeah.
in subsequent weekends.
There's probably this area where it's like bad is enjoyable, and then you get to okay, no one wants to see that. You get to really good people want to see that, but this middle ground.
$106 million debut. Then Guardians
Yeah.
of the Galaxy
Just-
Volume 3.
It's
down
also- you can
47%
only-
after $118 million debut.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and Thor:
that,
Love
but
and
this
Thunder
middle ground.
also saw similar declines of 67% in their respective sophomore outings. However, those 2022 films had much bigger debuts. Guardians 3 endured at the box office, while Ant-Man 3 became one of the few Marvel movies that failed to cross the $500 million mark globally and didn't break even in its theatrical run. In short, the whole narrative that this
Well,
fall
do
off is
people
a
wanna
new
see-
thing for MCU films just doesn't hold up. A steep 60 to 70%
sorry.
drop-off in the second week has become common for most of the Phase 4 and 5 films, including those that did very well at the box office. It's still not good.
You
but
get
it
to really
is a
good people
hard
want to see
trend.
that, but this middle
Now,
ground.
both articles claim that
It's also-
possible for
you
Brave
can
New
only
World
get
recover,
people to-
but that isn't the trend with
You can
MCU
only get
movies.
people to give
If the movie drops
that's
significantly in the
sorry.
second week, it usually
I'm also
doesn't
very
pick up
tired.
steam again in the following weeks.
People
It
only
just
give
keeps
things a
dropping,
certain amount of
meaning
chance.
Brave New World probably won't hit $500
This
million.
middle ground.
Like Variety
It's also-
mentioned,
you can
the
only
negative
get
reviews
people
and
to-
poor word of mouth isn't helping
You
the
can only
movie.
get people to
Mainstream
give
critics
as
didn't like the
yeah.
movie.
Sorry.
And the general audience
I'm also
response is
very
that the movie
tired.
is at best aggressively mid.
People only give
It's
things
not the
a
worst
certain.
thing ever, but it's also not that great.
It's also
The
you can
anti-woke
only
crowd are
get
gonna hate the
people
movie
to.
regardless, since they have a hate motive for anything MCU these days. So their commentary is basically useless. That said, most of the Phase 4 and 5 films and shows have been aggressively mid. The one film everyone seems to like is Spider-Man: No Way Home. The rest got mixed to negative reactions, and like the Variety article mentions, this has become the new normal for MCU films. Whereas
can only
before
get
they
people
could
to
do no
give
wrong,
as
now
the-
the
yeah,
audience isn't
sorry.
with it anymore.
I'm also
and that
very
goes
tired.
to a broader problem with the MCU, audience burnout. After Avengers Endgame came out in 2019, Disney and Marvel should have given the MCU a break. What they achieved was incredible. 10 years of films and TV shows building up to one of the biggest films
It's
ever
also
made.
you can only
Once
get
you
people
nail
to.
that, you don't jump back in.
People
and try
only
to do
give
it
things
again.
a certain
You give
amount
the
of
audience
chances,
a chance
and
to catch
Transformers.
their breath, a chance to
People to-
process what happened, a chance to look back on it fondly, and a chance to wonder what will happen next. In a perfect world, Disney and
people
Marvel
wanna
would have
see that,
waited
but this
5
middle
years to
ground.
start the next phase with
It's
Spider-Man
also
Far
you
From
can
Home,
only get
matching the
people
time
to.
gap between the
People
second
only
and
give
the
things
undone
a
in the
certain
movie.
amount of
That
chances,
would have
and
given
Transformers
them enough
1
time to
did
get
really
people
really well.
hyped for more MCU.
I enjoy that
Instead,
movie. It's fun.
they
It's
ended
dumb.
Phase 3 with Far From
Transformers
Home,
2
and
was a
they
mess.
waited
That was a bit of a writer strike
whole
thing, so I feel like
calendar
people
year
gave that one a
to
pass.
jump
But yeah,
right
then
back
3
into it, and that
was
year-long
kind of
delay was
weak,
probably due to
4
the
was
pandemic
weak, and then
more than
5
anything
everyone
else.
jumped off. So by the
And
time
what did they
Bumblebee
do
came,
right
people
out
were
of
like,
the gate?
nah, I watched a bunch
Multiverse
of those
stuff.
movies. They kind
Sure,
of
they'd
sucked. I'm not
already
seeing
dabbled with it in
Bumblebee.
previous films,
But then Hollywood
but
will
they
just
dove
keep
in
pumping them out. They
head
did the
first
same
for
thing with
Phase
like
4,
Hellboy.
and it was a
They put out
mess.
2 Hellboy
All the
movies
planning
recently.
they'd done with the previous films and
In
shows
2019,
never
and the
gelled with
newest
new
one went
stuff.
direct to
Add
video.
to this the brilliant
And it's like,
idea
guys,
to adapt the
even
failed
the
all-new,
good
all-different
Hellboy
story
movies
arcs
never
from the
did
comics.
super great.
Yeah, those books
Why do you
didn't
keep
sell well and
trying
are
with
largely
this? It
disliked
just
by
doesn't
comic book
work.
fans.
As a
Let's
film
make movies
franchise,
out of
I'm sorry.
Why in
They
the
should have
fuck
kept.
would you do that?
They should have just.
Nobody liked
What
those
everyone
stories.
says the
Why
Hellboys,
would
like you
you
should have
adapt?
brought back
But
Perlman, should
I
have
will
brought
give
back
them
Del
credit.
Toro.
They had a better
You know,
explanation
get
for
back the
Falcon
OG.
taking on Cap's name than
But,
the
One
comics,
more.
but it still wasn't going to get over. The same with Captain Marvel and Ms. Marvel. They tried the same tactics from the comics, literally declaring that these are your new favorite characters.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
And the proof is that when the Marvels came out, it crashed and burned before the first ticket even sold. None of those characters got over, which is why they didn't do well in the box office. That goes back to what Marvel and Disney achieved. They took second-tier characters Marvel hadn't sold the rights to and made them
Get back the
A-list
OG.
household
But,
names.
One more, you
can't
would have
just
done better
replace
than.
them. It takes time to build interest in new characters, especially when the old ones are so beloved. But even the remaining characters that people
get back
like,
the OG.
Loki, Doctor Strange,
one more,
Thor,
you would have
suffered
done
in
better
the
than
last
the
two
last one.
phases
The last
because
one
none
would
of
have
it
been a
clicked with
fine
the
like
audience.
pilot for
I
like a
suspect
show,
part of it is that people are tired of
but
the
it doesn't
MCU
work as a
formula.
movie.
I think part of it is that the whole multiverse thing isn't the draw Marvel and Disney thought it would be. I think part of it is that people are waiting for the X-Men to show up. But I think the main problem is that they couldn't recapture the magic of building up to this big event. That's what made the whole MCU thing kind of work. Everyone waiting to see all these characters on screen together. Well, they've already done it, and they've done it enough that the audience is expecting it. When they don't see anything new that wows them,
Just
they'll
do
probably
one
get
more,
bored.
you would have done
I think
better
that's
than the
what's
last one.
happening to the MCU.
The last one would have been
The
a
biggest
fine
draw
like
right now would be the
pilot for like a
X-Men,
show,
which they kind of tease with Doctor Strange
but it
too.
doesn't work as a
What else
movie.
do they possibly do to top Brain and the X-Men?
It's
They are
interesting
still
about Hollywood
aiming for
because I
Secret
think
Wars, but I
I've
don't
been
think
digging
that's
into
gonna
like
bring it
golden
out of
Hollywood
people. They
and
really
classic
haven't
Hollywood
set it up
history.
all that well.
It's fascinating because
Honestly,
you can
the
go
only
back
thing that
to the
comes to mind
very
that would make
beginning
people
of
lose it like
Hollywood
they
in
did
the
with
10s and the
Endgame
20s,
is a
and they're
crossover
still
with
doing
DC
all the
Comics.
same crap they
And
do
that's
today.
not gonna happen. I give Marvel credit for trying to pivot away from the one-liners and humor to something more serious in Brave New World, but I don't think adapting a failed comic book story arc is the best way
Yeah,
to
they don't really
go.
learn, do they?
The same goes for pigeonholing the Falcon into an Incredible Hulk film, which hasn't had a sequel in almost 20 years. That seems like that's
Doing all the
probably
same
not
crap
gonna work
they do today.
What they're doing with the Fantastic Four, setting them in their
Yeah, they
own
don't really
universe,
learn, do they?
might actually be the best decision.
No, it's amazing.
Then
It's
they
like,
can have
yes,
their
they're
crossover
abusing
with the main
contracts.
MCU
Yes,
and the
they're
timeline.
breaking laws.
It also
Yes,
allows them to
they're
bring in
taking
characters
advantage of
like
their
Miles
audience.
Morales
Yes,
without
they
scrubbing
do all
Peter
that.
from
They've
the
always
main
done
MCU,
all that. That's what
which
they
will
like
And
to
they're
do.
also
Along the
What they
same
like.
line,
And also-
it gives them
what
room
they
to
like.
potentially bring in new actors for Captain America, Iron Man, and the other Avengers.
And
I
they're
doubt
also
gonna do
jumping
anything
on
like that.
trends.
They
Yeah.
really
Jump
seem
on a
set
bunch.
on doing this multiverse thing. And while it worked in Deadpool and Wolverine, I think people will get tired of it real quick if Marvel
Yeah.
just
Jump
keeps
on a bunch
hopping
of
universes.
trends.
The real test is people's reaction to Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
Jump
People
on a
accept
bunch of
that. Marvel might be able to make this work. If not, they're going to have more movies perform like Brave New World, open with a strong takeoff, and then just face plant right out of the sky. But what do I know? I'm just some guy.
They've always done all that. That's what they like
And
to
they're
do.
also jumping on trends.
Yeah.
Jump on a bunch of trends. Whatever's popular. Which, I mean, that is a way to stay relevant. You gotta adapt with the time. But then they'll do too much, and people get tired of it. Like, people got tired of way too many westerns. Way too many, like, sci-fi robot alien invasion stuff. They oversaturate us, I think.
So many musicals. The 30s
Yeah,
and
and a bunch of
40s.
musicals.
So many musicals.
Hideo Kojima was confused by the movie. He didn't understand what was going on.
30s
Yeah,
and
and a bunch
40s.
of
Like we point out
Some-
many times, if you don't watch Disney Plus show, you're not gonna know what the hell's going on.
Right, and this is coming from a guy who makes confusing games himself.
So many
right?
musicals.
But he said that he did not.
That's why,
watch
like, you had, like,
Falcon
the
and
60s,
Winter
70s.
Soldier, and he didn't know what's going on. So we're gonna talk about that. And then we're gonna talk about
The
Rob
30s
Yeah,
and
and a bunch of
40s.
musicals.
So many
Kevin
musicals.
Spent, and his best days are behind him, and they need to replace him with somebody else to run Marvel. We're going to talk about the drop off again for Captain America 4. It actually dropped from opening day to, I think, Friday to Friday. It dropped 82%. Now for the weekend it was 68%, but it's a massive failure, right? Now you not expect. I do not
30s and
expect everybody else
40s.
to do better.
Some-
I really don't. I mean, it's just
Alien
the
invasion
leftovers.
stuff. They
should've just
they
called it
oversaturate us, I think.
So many
That's
musicals.
basically what they are.
The
I mean, we're
30s
talking
and
about all the
40s.
D-list
So many
characters.
musicals.
I'm like, my God.
That's why,
who
like, you had,
doesn't
like, the
have a
60s,
movie, who
70s, and
doesn't have
80s. It was just a
Disney
little
Plus
different.
So, let's talk about this. Before we get
There were
into
all
any
these
further, please
subgenres, like,
subscribe to
popping
our
up.
pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You will get a
Different.
woohoo if you do. If you're looking to get notified of new videos, sometimes you can send YouTube because we've been getting complaints that YouTube is not sending notifications
They
to
all-
everybody, even if you have the bell rung. So check out clownfishtv.substack.com. That's clownfishtv.substack.com, and we will post
So many
our
musicals.
videos, links to our videos.
That's why,
there.
like, you had, like,
Maybe
the
an email,
60s, 70s, and
maybe
80s. It was just a little different.
We've got new stuff for you. to
There were
watch,
all
so
these
thank you very much,
subgenres, like, popping up.
for that. So this is his tweet.
And that's why a lot of those movies from those times
Media kind of being like, we don't
genres,
understand.
like, popping
Why
up.
is he confused?
Well, it's not that hard to figure out. I think with half a brain. Oh, you said the movie that.
Yeah, some of the media outlets were like, we don't understand. I'm confused as to why you're confused. And again, coming from Kojima, who did Metal Gear Solid and many other games, I mean, this has a little bit of weight to it because this is a guy who
it was just a little different.
Structure sometimes, and he's
there
like,
were all these subgenres like popping up, and that's why a lot of those movies from those times are like super remembered.
Sam receiving the shield in Endgame, but when did he officially become Cap? Is it because I haven't seen the Falcon and Winter Soldier? Yes. There were all these subgenres. Also getting it mixed up with the Thunderbolts trail. That's not good.
Okay, so this is the same thing that happened with the Marvels as well. You had
the 80s, it was just a little different.
Ms. Marvel, that unless you watched the shows, you didn't know who the hell they were. No. And the problem is, Disney keeps trying to do these shows and movies to try to
just a little different. There were all these subgenres like popping up, and that's why a lot of those movies from those up.
And they just watch the movie, so they're very confused, especially since this is basically a 20-year-old Hulk movie sequel as well.
Yeah.
They're confused about it. It's not that hard to understand why they're confused. If you didn't watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which we kept saying into this, you're going to be lost. And that's exactly what happened. It's really not that hard to understand if you're being honest and not biased like the media is doing.
So this person here said even for
all these subgenres like popping up, and that's why a lot of those movies from those times are like super remembered. And then you get to the 90s where there's like which I love 90s movies, but then like this movie has to be made to sell a soundtrack and toys and this, and then it got a little bit commercialized.
I like the look.
What's going on is insane.
I forgot about that. You have to watch Eternals too.
Yeah, see the thing about the MCU is that until Phase 4,
I like the look of a lot of 90s films, though, because I think that's kind of the zenith of the nicer film-looking kind of films.
Yeah.
I think in some of the late 70s and 80s
a lot of people followed a lot of books, and they were doing it for cross-marketing.
Yeah.
I think in some of the...
like 75 cents, it wasn't a big deal to be like, oh, you gotta go pick up this issue of X-Men or whatever. And they would also recap it or film it.
Because I think that's kind of the zenith of the nicer film-looking kind of films.
Yeah.
I think in some of the late 70s and even in the 80s, you have some really strong lookers. I think like Taxi Driver from the 70s, for example.
Yeah.
That just looks fantastic. I think you still get some of that till the 90s. And then they go to digital, and some digital films can make it work for the most part. Not so much. We've lost a lot of that filmography kind of texture to films today, which is
it's like, but I mean,
call clickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
To films today,
which is
it's like, but I mean, film
films today. Because last you saw him, he was getting the shield, then you weren't sure what he was going to do unless you watched that show. You weren't going to see him actually come back. And that's what happens.
Expensive a lot of times.
People didn't go because you're like, who the hell's Photon in Ms. Marvel? And they also didn't really care for Captain Marvel.
Well, it was the same with Doctor Strange too. It was basically a sequel to WandaVision.
Right.
You didn't watch it. You had no idea. Like our son, who actually is mostly up on the MCU stuff, went to go see Doctor Strange 2 before he watched WandaVision. He's like, I have no idea what the hell is going on with Wanda. What the hell is going on here? And
well, then he watched WandaVision after, and he's like, oh yeah, you really have to watch WandaVision to understand it, and he thought that was stupid. It's like, why would you do that? The problem with Disney Plus, and it's been since end of 2019, so after they had the Endgame thing, and then we go to Phase 4 of the MCU, they spread themselves too thin by putting it too many places, and you expect everybody to watch all this shit, but not everybody wants to watch all your shit.
Yeah, what they're trying to do, again, is they're trying to mimic the comics where you had your monthly comic book series, and people pick these series up, and then they do these big crossover events. And it doesn't work with the movies, right? Again, the whole purpose of the MCU was to make Marvel more accessible for normies. And when you make it as convoluted as the comic books, like comic book fans might be all about, like, yeah, this is great, this references this, and this references that, and whatever. Yeah, but they just want to sit in the theater for 2 hours.
Photography kind of texture to films today.
Mostly self-contained.
Yeah, it's like, but I mean, film is expensive. It is very expensive, and that's unless you're like a Nolan where you have multi-million-dollar budgets to afford it. It's probably just not worth it for a lot of filmmakers. I know, like David Lynch went all digital. He's like, I can get.
They all kind of went off in their own direction. Now, I think when they really started to integrate things a lot tighter was actually Captain America 3 Civil War, because that was basically an Avengers movie, and then everything became a lot more intertwined. But even the Spider-Man movies, for the most part, were pretty kind of self-contained.
Well, here's the thing too with Thunderbolts, they're gonna have issues again because most of the characters in Thunderbolts were introduced in the programs on Disney Plus.
Yeah, they're all leftover characters from other
Bucky,
shows.
You know,
Bucky and what's his name, the Russian guy.
No, he was in the.
Get a bunch of takes, as many takes as I want. I can experiment more. It looks fine.
So you know you have Red Guardian and you have
texture
you know,
to
the other
films
Black Widow,
today.
Sister, and then,
Yeah, it's like, but I mean, film
was,
is
you know, in
expensive.
one movie, so you probably
It is very expensive. And that's
What's up, Frank
like
Castle?
Nolan, where you have multi-million-dollar budgets.
I was looking at that picture you sent me.
For a lot of filmmakers, I know, like David Lynch went all digital. He's like, I can get a bunch of takes, as many takes as I want. I can experiment more. It looks fine. Yeah, early digital. Some early digital movies kind of look like shit. Like Attack of the Clones looks like shit. But it's gotten better. It's definitely gotten better. Now you can add like texture and like filters and LUTs to it to give it that old school feel. But
What do you mean?
I love the look of film. It's just it's too expensive a lot of times.
It is. I watched your.
Because they probably would have done a show out of it, and if people aren't gonna watch it.
Expensive a lot of times.
It is. I watched your review of the different Hobbit movies. So the Lord of the Rings movies, and then you also talked about Hobbit. Do you remember High Variable? Your review of the different Hobbit.
What's up, Xbox God? I've messed with your sleep schedule. Why? Because you had to help me with stuff, or because you just have to tune in to all the excitement? Sorry, whichever scenario caused you to mess up your sleep schedule.
It's too expensive a lot of times.
It is. I watched your review of the different Hobbit movies. So the Lord of the Rings movies, and then you also talk about Hobbit. Do you remember High Variable?
Yep.
Frame.
High
Yeah.
frame rate.
High variable makes sense to those who have not seen everything the Marvel machine has to offer. Seems like Kojima has not been keeping up with Disney Plus, including Falcon and Winter Soldier, and he questioned Sam Wilson's position as Captain America. And he said Thunderbolts is a very similar action-based movie coming to cinemas in May, and it's the same thing. It's a bunch of leftover characters from Disney Plus shows.
We said this before this movie came out, that this is gonna happen.
Do you remember High Variable?
Yep.
Frame.
High frame rate.
Fans who are on the fence about whether a movie is worth spending time and money on, that really only counts if people are on the same page. This is the
frame rate. Yep. They were trying to. Avatar did that first, I think.
Kojima's lack of MCU dollars makes it hard for fans to find much benefit in his.
What did you think of that?
As a normie.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We said with with the Marvels, the same thing. We said people aren't gonna know these characters are.
Yeah, it looks cool. That definitely would be convenient. Surprised there's not something like that already out there, because it's such a fucking pain in the ass. Having to fucking have 16 apps on my phone just to watch shit, and I never use most of them.
High variable.
Yep.
Frame.
High
Yeah.
frame rate. Yep. They were trying to. Avatar did that first, I think. They did the 48 frames, and then Peter Jackson went all in on 48 frames. High frame rate 3D, and that turned out not being the future.
What did you think of that? It had kind of looked a little. I liked it, but I kind of like weird things. I like 3D. I like the weird. I wish I could see one of those Panavisions. They still have those theaters that have like the elongated screen. I like that kind of thing.
I would love to see those. I would like to watch. What was
And how many hours invested?
There's to have like the. I like that kind of thing.
It's ridiculous.
I would love
to understand it. It's up to the studio to make sure that you make it clear in the beginning of the film for those who.
I would love to see those. I would like to watch. What was
I mean, that's just it. It's
when I was in Rochester, because that's where Kodak Film was. Apparently, there's like a theater there that will like screen like silver nitrate like movies and shit.
Wow.
Things that were.
Why did you just turn evil? Like
Yeah, for no reason.
there were others who weren't really bothered by what Kojima had to say.
Like I'm wanting to finish it tonight. What? I'm down to my final 25 riddles in Arkham Knight. Wow. I bet you could knock it out tonight.
Wow. Things that
Marvel stuff too, and I think you're full of shit.
I think, you know, as soon as they start getting into the multiverse, and again,
Do you look up guides on how to do them if you get stuck, or do you figure them each out? Because I couldn't figure out so many of them in Arkham City.
and I'm like, have as much history, but they were fairly straightforward to follow, and they were inexpensive. Like when I was
and I'm like, I don't
12, 13 years old buying comic books, I could buy most of what was on the stands, and I could still find at a fairly reasonable price the back issues I needed to get filled in on something, but they did explain it very clearly in Marvel, like, hey, this is from this issue, this is what happened.
The problem I see is, and we saw this with
Visions.
Marvel,
They still have
we
those
saw this
theaters
with
that have like the elongated screen. I like that kind of thing.
I would love to see those. I would like to watch. What was when I was in Rochester, because you know that's where Kodak Film was.
I have no shame. I would sit there. I would go if I was gonna run the task of completing every riddle in the Arkham games. I would shamelessly just be flipping to a playthrough and then back.
Yeah, and it's they're asking too much, and it's almost like you need to get to like Endgame would have been a good jumping off.
It's got to be hard as fuck to do that because are they individually marked? How would you even look up how to do each one? There's hundreds of them, yeah?
Elongated screen. I like that kind of thing.
I would love to see those. I would.
They did with Thanos and Infinity War. And instead they're like, no, let's introduce the multiverse and all these Disney Plus shows and
the elongated screen. I like that kind of thing.
I would love to see those. I would like to watch. Oh, what was when I was in Rochester.
I like that kind of thing.
I would love to see those. I would like to watch. Oh, what was
that's why they're trying to.
When I was in Rochester, because you know that's where Kodak Film was. Apparently, there's like a theater there that will like screen like silver nitrate like movies and shit.
Wow.
Things that were shot on that kind of film stock, and I would love to see that projected. But yeah, the high frame rate, it just looked too much like.
Oh, okay.
Like a live TV broadcast. It lost that cinematic feel to it. It's interesting to watch for a little bit, but it just never feels like I'm watching a movie. Like I remember my TV, I had a TV that had that motion blurring thing that kind of gives you that higher frame rate feel, and I'm like, I don't like this when it's like a film, like a narrative. Because 24 is like the closest to how we see, I think. 48 is just a little too much information. It's fine for like sports and stuff or live broadcasts, but in films it just takes me out of it.
Yeah, I guess the idea was if
later, and Liefeld like him off there, but now it
just takes me out of it.
And this is the thing. This movie has become a very weird, polarizing. It's like a cup half full, half empty scenario. We've got people.
Yeah, I guess the idea was at 48 you're just doubling 24, so the thought maybe you're still I don't have quite the right words to express this, but maybe you're still getting the kind of the kind of moving image that you would get with typically, but you somehow be higher. I don't know. I don't know the science of it very well.
And who knows? Maybe it's just because we are old.
I don't think it's very well.
Promotion on that, guys. That was like just, you know, and I don't even know if all the reshoots are counted, okay? And it's like, and it's a 200
It was Hobbit 3. If they even did it for Hobbit 3.
No, sweetie pie. No, that's not how this works. You usually have to double that amount. So at least 360, 400 million until it's break even.
Yeah, this is not YouTube.
Moving image that you would get with typically, but you somehow be higher. I don't know. I don't know the science of it very well.
And who knows? Maybe it's just because we are only.
And I mean that's break even, and then because you have to figure they have to do residuals.
Typically, but you somehow be higher. I don't know. I don't know the science of it very well.
And who knows? Maybe it's just because we are only used to like 24 to 30 frames. So it was just too boring. Who knows if Hollywood went all in on it? Maybe we all would have adjusted to it at some point. But instead, they did not do that. I can't remember the last time there was a high frame rate movie. I think it was Hobbit 3. If they even did it for Hobbit 3.
I saw the first two Hobbit movies in the high frame rate. That thought that was neat. And I think you're right. I think maybe Avatar 1 did it.
Yeah.
That's it. I can't think of any others.
But Avatar also did it.
But I think they're looking at like Marvel.
Yeah.
That's it. I can't.
For the iceberg.
I mean, yes.
Can't think of any others.
To be fair, I mean, they're going to be completely, in the middle and honest about stuff. Maybe not, because they have
Fright Night in 3D.
Captain Kirk says Favreau would do a better job. Yeah, some of the best comic storylines have been mangled in the last 4 or 5 years. Red Hulk story was good and it had a lot of character at its core, but it was reduced to a 7-minute side plot.
And
that's what they're doing. They're taking bits and pieces of classic comic book stories or more recent comic book stories that were well received, and then they're just putting them in the blender and hitting puree. This is what we get. Like, even as much as I liked Infinity War,
we couldn't see shit.
It pales in comparison to the original Infinity Gauntlet, but they didn't have.
Gemini Man did the high frame rate stuff too. It's also available on the 4K disc. Oh, was Gemini Man with Will Smith? Man, I forgot about that fucking movie. Is that where there's 2 Will Smiths?
We saw all night because
oh my god.
Saw all night.
Sorry, I'm just still stuck on you saying puree. Anyway, so they said that it's on
because
oh my gosh.
Right.
Ant-Man 3, Kraven the Hunter, and Batman vs Superman for the drop off.
Yeah. He does what Disney pays him to do.
Like, the high frame rate stuff is why it's always on must-buy 4K discs, even though it's terrible. You know what's funny? I was thinking about, I'm just like, man, I should get a 3D TV. I bet you they're probably pretty inexpensive now. They've been around for a while. I look up 3D televisions, and they're only available on eBay. I'm like, that's weird. And then I look up 3D TVs on Wikipedia and found out that the technology died like fucking 10 years ago or something. Like, it was very short-lived. I dated a chick in like 2012 whose dad had like a big 3D TV, and I never got to try it. And I never got to try anybody's 3D TV, so I'm like, I want to try it. But they don't have them no more. Didn't work out. I think it was because they confused people. Hell, they confused me. I didn't understand how they worked. Like, some of the glasses you needed to have plugged in this, or like with batteries in it and stuff, and I'm like, there's too many variables here, too many things to break. But I just wanted to get a 3D TV so I could watch Dredd in 3D. But if you want to watch the 2012 Dredd movie in 3D, get one of those cheapo VR headsets that you put your phone into, the ones you can pick for like $20 at Walgreens, and then download a torrent of Dredd 2012, but do the SBS version that's side by side. So then they'll have it like in cardboard mode, so you could put on the virtual reality goggles and watch it that way, which I have done. I watched Dredd that way. I watched Star Wars, Force Awakens. That's how long ago I was doing this. And probably Guardians of the Galaxy I did that for. And it looks cool. My phone has a bunch of cracks in it now, and it's too big for those VR headsets, really. But you could do it.
Can't think of any others.
But Avatar also did 3D well. That's 3D can be done well. I just feel like, getting back to trend.
Get a PlayStation VR headset. You can watch 3D discs on PS4 in it, and the 3D works through the headset, and it's so good. Oh yeah. How much is the fucking PS4? PSVR. Still 500 fucking... No, it's PS2 VR. PS4 VR. I could pick one up for $69 on eBay. 180 bucks refurbished. 144 bucks used. It's still so fucking expensive. Ooh. I found one for $100 on eBay. It's used. $55 shipping. God damn it.
Friends, 2010s, everyone was doing 3D, but there was a lot of like post-production 3D conversion that they were just slapping it on after the fact. So a lot of it looked like trash. Movies that were filmed with 3D in mind did a little bit better. But there were bad ones. Like I think Clash of the Titans had like problems with its 3D, like the perspectives were off, if I'm remembering right. But there were some movies that benefited from it, like but Avatar also did 3D well. That's 3D can be done well. I just feel like frame rate movie. I think it was Hobbit 3.
That's it. I can't think of any others.
But Avatar also did 3D well. That's 3D can be done well. I just feel like, getting back to trends, 2010s everyone was doing 3D, but there was a lot of like post-production 3D conversion that they were just slapping it on after the fact. So a lot of it looked like trash. Movies that were filmed with 3D in mind did a little bit better. But there were bad ones. Like I think.
All right, okay. Your nation's a joke. I don't know. It seems like a pretty good dream to me.
Head of research at Missouri, we met at Capitol Grill. We fleshed this thing out in 2 hours, and I'm honored that the president has endorsed it. This is a real plan to send the savings that Doge
they were just slapping it on after the fact. So a lot of it looked like trash. Movies that were filmed with 3D.
It was their money in the first place, and they need a break.
After the fact.
The government of waste, fraud, and abuse. But at some level, isn't it all illusory? In other words, if there's a quote-unquote savings made by Elon Musk and Doge, we're still $36 trillion in debt. So there's...
Version that they were just slapping it on after the fact. So a lot of it looked like trash. Movies that were filmed.
We might as well just keep spending money. Like I don't understand this at all. And also, if this was illusory, then why did we give out COVID stimulus checks?
3D conversion that they were just slapping it on after the fact. So a lot of it looked like trash. Movies that were filmed with 3D in mind.
There's no pie to cut up. There's no slice of the pizza that I can hand back to you unless we continue to borrow those funds.
Our plan's really simple. Over the next couple years,
that they were just slapping it on after the fact. So a lot of it looked like trash. Movies that were filmed with 3D in mind did a little bit better. But there were bad ones. Like I think Clash of the Titans had like problems with its 3D, like the perspectives were off, if I'm remembering right. But there were some movies that benefited.
This project is said and done. Next summer, for every $5, $1 goes back to the pockets of American taxpayers. Here's why.
This guy got a default resting face like a Starfield in PC.
With its 3D, like the perspectives were off, if I'm remembering right. But there were some movies that benefited from it, like Dread in 3D looked awesome.
I was just talking about it.
Like that one did it well.
Have you watched Dread in 3D, Xbox God? If you haven't, get on that, because that's one of the best 3D movies ever. The 3D in it was like tied in. The 3D parts of it were like tied into like the story itself, like the slow-mo drug in it. It's just so cool. Dread is so cool. I watched that movie first time I watched it twice in a row.
Did a little bit better. But there were bad ones. Like I think Clash of the Titans had like problems with its 3D, like the perspective was
Nice.
off, if I'm remembering right. But there were some movies that benefited from it, like Dread in 3D looked awesome. Like that one did it well because it was bright and colorful. People forget like they try to do like 3D for like dark action movies and horror movies, and it looked like shit because you would put the glasses on and it would darken the image and you just couldn't see anything. Like I remember I saw Fright Night the Fright Night remake in 3D, and I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck is going on in this scene. And the Conan the Barbarian remake, I saw them both in the same night. Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah, me too. Too bad it didn't do good.
It's a great night. We saw Conan the Barbarian and Fright Night in 3D. And when it got dark, like when Conan's in the cave or there was a night scene in Fright Night, we couldn't see shit.
Is that these Doge dividends will incentivize Americans to report waste, fraud, and abuse in their own community. Why?
Conan the Barbarian and Fright Night in 3D. And when it got dark, like when Conan's in the cave or there was a night scene in Fright Night, we couldn't see shit. In between those movies, we watched 20 minutes of the Glee 3D concert movie. And that was the best 3D movie we saw all night because it was bright and brightly lit and colorful.
That dates it just a little bit.
And that was the best 3D movie we saw all night. Watched 20 minutes of the Glee 3D concert movie. And that was the best 3D movie we saw all night because it was bright and brightly lit and colorful.
That dates it just a little bit.
Yeah.
Dates it just a little bit.
Yeah.
Is the solution, so if the soft power, so basically if the logic is that the soft power reduces the probability of having bad things happen, then how many Sesame Street plays do you think that we should have?
All night because it was bright and brightly lit and colorful.
That dates it just a little bit.
Yeah.
So maybe 5, 7. Well, maybe once a week. How many is it going to take to make these bombs?
What's going on?
There has to be the math on this, right? Why should we care about terrorist attacks in Iraq at all? That's a great question.
I remember seeing Avatar in 3D in theaters. I worked at Blockbuster when Avatar came out, and I didn't see it until it came out on DVD, and I watched it on that. I watched it on that tiny TV in 2D. And I wasn't thrilled with it. And I didn't see the second one. I still can't believe the gap in time between the two.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. I'm like, we saw 3 fucking 3D movies tonight, and the 20 minutes we saw of Glee was the best thing we've seen because we could actually see what was going on.
Oh my goodness.
What was going on?
There's no answer. I don't even
What was going on?
Depends if the government divided the nose. Otherwise you don't need to care. Well, this is my mindset. Is that why the fuck are we in Iraq at all? Now, I'm speaking as an American, so I can't understand Iraqi culture. But what I can understand is that if I had another nation that is trying to forcefully push its agenda in my country, that would annoy me. And I wouldn't like that. So when I hear this, I bet there's
Oh my goodness. Best 3D movie I ever saw was probably Coraline, which is an animated film.
Yeah.
You haven't seen Coraline, the film?
I don't remember if I...
You killed our leader, and you think we had nukes. We didn't have any
Yeah.
Everything's fucked up now, and now you want us to look at Sesame Street and tell us that we're right? You're gonna
You haven't seen Coraline?
mad about the weapons of mass destruction debacle? I don't fucking think that's gonna happen.
Definitely haven't seen the 3D
Think
version.
about it. It's insane. Big Bird is the solution to terrorism. Well, I don't know about Big Bird, but I know One Piece certainly isn't.
Let me make my point. Put on the screen from the Peterson Foundation. This is where the rubber meets the road. We are $36 trillion in debt. I don't know if you can see that.
It's film.
No.
You haven't seen Coraline? The film?
I don't remember if I've seen Coraline proper, but I definitely haven't seen the 3D version.
The 3D, if you had the chance to see in 3D, it's definitely worth it. Because that was one of the few films where I felt like 3D definitely elevated the production.
Nice.
I remember one time I
That's not even real. Like, all of these are bullshit, theoretical numbers. Like, what is this? It's not made up?
Nice.
Absolutely it is. Debt to who? Who's the debt to?
Nice.
Who's that? It's all made up money.
Elevated the production.
Nice.
I remember one time this was a giant mistake, but I saw not the blue people Avatar film, the little bald kid Avatar.
The Last Airbender?
Yeah.
By giving us 20%, everything ought to go to the debt because the Peterson people.
The Last Airbender?
He wants to use this argument and say that the Doge dividend is silly and it should be put entirely towards paying down the debt. Like, I wouldn't agree with that because I think that the debt is just a cosmetic number that will never change. Like, this entire, you're
Didn't get a call back.
$36 trillion.
But I got paid.
Like, I'm sorry, it will never happen. It's not real. It's never gonna go that far. It's just never gonna happen. So anyway, that being said, inflation. Yeah, with inflation and everything like that, it's just never gonna happen. That being said, I
When
think
they cut to his body double, looks nothing
Not
like
you.
him, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And I feel like
Not
that was a lot of
Italian,
people's
man.
complaint.
It's like they should just send people checks.
Nothing
Not
like
you.
it, right?
That's right. Right.
50% of all revenue is going to go to satisfying interest on the debt.
Yeah.
We should be paying
And I
the
feel
debt. Your response?
My response is this: we should be paying the debt, which is why the Doge did.
feel like that was a lot of
Italian, man.
people's complaint.
To call out waste, fraud, and abuse, to lower the budget, to narrow the deficit, and to bring down the debt. Where was this emergency over the debt when we sent $350 billion to Ukraine to be wasted? Where was this emergency on CNN when you guys were advocates?
Does economics do some basic research before saying nonsense? Do you realistically think that we are ever going to pay down $36 trillion? Just be honest with me right now.
Bald
Do you
kid.
ever think that's actually
Avatar.
The Last Airbender?
Yes. Oh my
Which
goodness.
I was supposed to be Jackson Rathbone's stand-in or body double. I tried out outfits for one day, and I didn't get a call back. But I got paid $7 to try on some of his outfits to be his stand-in. And that's probably why you don't like the movie, right? Because when they cut to his body double, it looks nothing
Not
like
you.
him, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And I feel like that was a lot of people's complaint. Everyone always says the problem with this movie is Jackson Rathbone's body double. He just doesn't look like him.
The 3D in that movie was so bad. I was like, is this even
That
on?
That might have been the one where they did like the.
Oh yeah, Jaws 3D. Yeah, I wonder if there's a way to get that in 3D, like and watch through VR headset. Earlier, me and Xbox God were talking about how I was looking into getting a 3D television, but then when I started looking it up, I'm just like, man, it's 3D TVs, they've probably gone down in price now. The technology's been out for a little while. Turns out the technology failed and was discontinued like a decade ago. But I said that because I wanted to watch Dread in 3D. So what I did was I downloaded a torrent of Dread 3D onto my phone, but I did this SBS version side by side, and I was able to watch it off my phone on a VR headset, one of those cheapo ones. An Xbox guy was talking about a PSVR. You could watch 3D movies on those. I wonder if you could watch Jaws 3D, if there's a digital version of that where you could watch it that way. Because it's different. I'm thinking it's different technology. There is a 3D Blu-ray disc of Jaws 3 somewhere. Really? Is it in 3D? Is Friday 13th 3 available in 3D? I have Friday 13th 3D DVD, but it comes with the red and blue glasses, which that's just shitty. And I've tried to watch it in 3D. I'm like, this doesn't work. But also, I have My Bloody Valentine in 3D. That has the green and magenta glasses, which are a lot easier on the eyes, and that pops out a little bit. Yes, Fandango at home. Fandango at home has those movies available in 3D format for VR headsets. Because I've never seen Jaws 3 in 3D. I've only watched it on tape. And it's not a very strong entry in the franchise.
Right?
That's right.
Yeah. I feel like that was a lot of people's complaint. Everyone always says the problem with this movie is Jackson Rathbone's body double. He just doesn't look like it.
The 3D in that movie was so bad. I was like, is this even on?
That might have been the one where they did they did it in like post, like they filmed it not with 3D in mind.
Yeah.
A German company is releasing Friday 13 Part 3 in real 3D in the next few months. There's also going to be a Scream 7 3D disc happening soon, too. Scream 7 was released in 3D?
3D in mind.
Yeah.
3D in mind.
Yeah.
No.
Man, I like gimmicks. I'm not against gimmicks.
I don't even remember which one Screen 7 was. Was that the newest one? The newest one was okay. Those movies are really silly. I don't think any of them are terrible. I enjoyed like the last 3 that I saw. They weren't bad. Are they seriously on Scream 7? I remember Scream 4, that was like over a decade ago. Scream 5, Scream 6. One of them is just called Scream. I don't know. Yep, 2-7. Wow. That's crazy.
Is this even on?
That might have been the one where they did they did it in like post, like they filmed it not with 3D in mind.
Man, I like gimmicks. I'm not against gimmicks. Gimmicks are fun. Gimmicks are fun.
They're filming Scream 8 right now. I wonder if they'll get Neve Campbell back. She was pissed. They didn't offer her enough money for the last one.
That's not the question I asked. Do you think that we're ever going to pay that down?
I had such a crush on Neve Campbell in the 90s.
Japan and China own most of our debts. Yes, I think that you will. I don't. I don't think we will. I think the number is too big. We're not getting enough money. There's never going to be a reason to do that. A lot of the EU and Brazil can't really capitalize on that debt. It's not going to happen. Yeah. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Allocating $7,000 to migrants in Chicago. $7,000 a month per migrant, and now we want to spend $5,000 one time from President Trump to hardworking Americans. The migrants didn't deserve $7,000 a month. Hardworking Americans deserve a $5,000 check with President Trump's name on it. So enough with the double standard. Ukraine did not deserve $350 billion.
Listen to me. This is Madoff's life. This is a Ponzi scheme.
No, Ukraine was a Ponzi scheme. The migrant funding was a Ponzi scheme. Hardworking Americans deserve a break. It is their money, Michael. It is their money.
I like gimmicks. I'm not against gimmicks. Gimmicks are fun.
They can be. Oh, what I hate is for.
So we didn't have the money for Ukraine, right? We didn't have the money for Ukraine.
Am I gonna?
$350 billion.
I never do this. I don't want to be that guy. And do I have to silence your microphone so I can respond to what you've said? Because there's so much fallacy in what you've just offered.
Please.
I have a very simple premise.
Yeah.
We're $36 trillion.
Oh, Nev said she's in it. Awesome.
I want to see us cut waste, fraud, and abuse. It is an
Oh, have you seen the original Piranha? I saw it when I was young and used to have nightmares about it. Plus, there's boobs in it. You know, when Piranha 3D came out, I worked at Blockbuster, so we got Piranha. We didn't have Piranha in the video store, but everybody got a few copies of it when the 3D came out, the remake. And I tried to watch it, but I too drunk, wasn't paying attention. I don't remember anything about it. It's funny you had nightmares about it because Piranha. Who directed that? It was a big director, and it was supposed to be a parody of Jaws, from what I understand. Piranha director. Yeah, James Cameron. I should watch Piranha. Piranha 3D was pretty okay, the remake. Then they made a sequel. It wasn't as good.
Man, I like gimmicks. I'm not against gimmicks. Gimmicks are fun.
They can be. Oh, what I hate is 40X. Have you done a 40X movie?
Is 40 isn't the one where the chair moves?
Yep, that's the one where the seats move,
okay.
and it's.
I don't think we're ever gonna get a Doge dividend. I'm gonna be totally honest.
Yep, that's the one.
I think that's gonna happen. I think the probability of it happening is so extremely fucking low. Right side guy, what is this here?
Where the seats move,
okay.
and it's.
Receipts and don't find a cash stockpile. Well, it's money that we're spending on something stupid, and then we stop spending the money. Right? I think that's generally what happens. Talking about once in 10 years, once they start to care when their opponent's political points with fucking children. No, the thing is that like we're never gonna pay back $36 trillion.
The movie is
fun.
fun.
Going to happen. The entire premise of this problem is fake. Like I'm sorry. And if you guys think that it's gonna happen, go ahead, flip it right now. Let's come back to it in 5, 10, 20 years. Yep, let's come back. Let's see if the number goes up or down. Because I bet it's just going to keep going up and up and up and up and up and up and up. That's it. And it's never going to go down.
And then.
Will you be here in 20 years? If I don't get banned, maybe. Yeah, we'll see what happens, right? Or World War III happens. There's definitely that too. And yeah, that's it.
And then. And then. We had to see it in 40.
Well, it's that, folks. That's that. After all the debate about how well Captain America
So we had to see it in 40X.
weekend, and given how much pull it could have with this week, and the Nazi style sort of thing where it
So yeah, gimmicks like that.
box office slowly over time. We now have our answer. We have the results for the second weekend, and it's a 68% drop.
So yeah, gimmicks like that.
I guess there's good news. That's only the third worst drop in MCU history, coming right behind the Marvels, which had a 78% drop, and
Cutting out all the sniffles.
so it's a 68% drop. But you have to understand a little something, that there's a difference in a movie that made a lot more on its opening weekend, has that kind of a drop, versus a movie that actually didn't
gimmicks
man.
like that I can't stand.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I've only done. I don't know.
Opening weekend wasn't that grand. When you've got stuff like, remember when Captain Marvel made $500 million on its opening
Yeah.
weekend, and to have a movie with that big of an opening get a big drop, that's not that bad because it
That's fair.
already made a ton.
I've only
Same with something like Avengers Endgame did $1 billion on its opening weekend. There's
only
a
done.
difference when a movie that
I don't know if they had any of the extra effects, but they did have the
has a big drop versus a movie that just did a little bit better than expectations, has a big drop.
40 isn't the one where the chair moves.
Yep, that's the one where
Oh,
the
it
seats
is,
move
okay.
and it's sprayed.
Gimmicks. I'm not against gimmicks. Gimmicks are fun.
They can be. Oh, what I hate is 40X. Have you done a 40X movie?
You gotta help. Is 40 isn't the one where the chair moves?
Yep, that's the one where
Oh,
the
it
seats
is,
move
okay.
and it sprays you with water and smoke fills the screen. I can't. I've seen 3 movies in 40X. The first one was an accident. I thought I was seeing Godzilla King of the Monsters in IMAX. I bought 40X tickets. And I walk in and I can't see anything. There's so much smoke. I'm like, what happened here? It turns out every time a building collapses in the movie, they put a smoke effect in the theater. But the entire end of the movie is Boston being destroyed. So the smoke from the previous viewing had not left the theater yet. And I had no idea that this is. I'm like, is my seat shit? What is going on?
105.30. 40X.
I got shot with water. Like, I turned my water off, but the seat in front of me was empty and the water was on, so it shot over the seat into my eye. And then I forced myself to see The Batman in 40X. That was the famous weekend I went to the Dick Show Road Rage in LA and had an edible that was way too strong for me. And I had to come back and watch The Batman, and I knew it was a long movie. I'm like, I'm gonna fall asleep. I'll see it in 40X. Chairs keep waking me up. And then Jurassic World Dominion. I took my, I went with my cousin and her daughters, and I told her, I'm like, hey, do me a favor, when you book the tickets, don't get 40X. And she went, what's 40X? And I explained it to her, and she's like, oh, the girls will love that, so we had to see it in 40X. And then the youngest one was too afraid of the movie, so I had to stand in the aisle with her because she was too afraid of the seat shaking. So yeah, gimmicks like that I can't stand.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I've only done. I don't know if they had any of the extra effects, but they did have the chair that moves around. I think of one time when I went to Las Vegas theater. What did I see? It was the first Despicable Me, which is an odd film.
The seat shaking. So yeah, gimmicks like that I can't stand.
Okay, that's fair.
So yeah, gimmicks like that I can't stand.
Okay.
Too afraid of the seat shaking. So yeah, gimmicks like that I can't stand.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I've only done. I don't know if they had any of the extra effects, but they did have the chair that moves around. I think of one time when I went to Las Vegas theater. What did I see? It was the first Despicable Me, which is an odd film. It was that or The Expendables.
Oh.
So
classics all around. Classics all around. They're both classics.
Iron Man 2, even though it wasn't as well received, I still actually like parts of that movie. That actually made a lot of money. That made over $600 million, didn't it? I have to look it up. Anyway, you were still doing a whole lot better in Phase 1. You had a better foundation.
They're both classics.
The first Avengers movie. That was when they were just seeing if this universe could work. But now you
Those are expensive gimmicks.
That has no guarantee to work with Robert Downey Jr. playing Doom, that all of the fans have united in saying that they do not like this casting. They do not like to bring Robert Downey Jr. back after we gave him such a good send-off. And, you know, I've already talked about all that, and now it's put me in a place where I'm just like, reboot is the only way, and I think we have fresh blood making these movies behind the scenes. Back to creativity. You know, as much of the bad times I've given James Gunn, I do praise him for
Those are expensive gimmicks.
Supergirl. It's not just casting directors to do these movies.
So what are you?
But here's the thing: as sad as it is to see that the MCU has gone this way, and the MCU is done. I mean, this is not oh, it's back, oh, it's done. No, it died in 2022 when they put out Thor: Love and Thunder, Doctor Strange 2, and then later in the next year, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. That was the run of films that killed it, and that killed the momentum of everyone enjoying these movies and actually being hyped about them. That has been dead. They might put out something good here and there. I'm pretty sure I'll give a good review to Daredevil Born Again because that looks really good.
I would have loved to have seen the Expendables in 4DX. That was my favorite one in 2012. It was the Expendables 2. I did not like the Expendables movies. Well, I haven't watched all of them, but I worked at Blockbuster when the first one came out, and I'm just like, ugh. A lot of like CGI flashbangs. I was just like, this should be awesome, but it was just like a kind of. I just felt like it was a mediocre action movie with just a super stacked cast that. I don't know. I feel like they left a lot on the table there. The Expendables.
Aisle with her because she was too afraid of the seat chick. So yeah, gimmicks like that I can't stand.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. I've only done. I don't know if they had any of the extra effects, but they did have the chair that moves around. I think one time when I went to Las Vegas Theater, the Expendables.
Oh, classics all around. They're both classics.
Those are expensive gimmicks. So what are you working on now for your show? What kind of films are you?
Hello, exclusive in the Kick Chat. How are you doing? I like that dancing alien emoji.
Are you into? So what are you working on now for your show? What kind of films are you into? So what are you working on now for your show? What kind of films are you into?
Well, Man of Steel. Still figuring out the year.
You had a clip about. on now for your show? What kind of films are you into?
Well, right now I had started going through the Saw movies because there's supposed to be a Saw 11 this year, but I haven't heard any update on that. So now I'm like, should I pivot and not do all the Saw sequels because I don't know if there's an 11th film coming out this year. I'm about to go through and do a lot of the Mission Impossibles. I only ever did like the first one because the Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, which now makes the previous movie sound stupid because it says Dead Reckoning Part 1. Anyway, that's a different problem. So I'm going to go through the Mission Impossible films. But yeah, so those are the two series that I'm going to try and focus on. There are some movies that are having big anniversaries this year. Let me pull up my calendar that I want to talk about. Oh, we're also going to start doing all the solo Superman films before the new Superman movie comes out. So we've already done the first one in Superman Returns, but we're going to start doing like 2, 3, 4, and eventually Man of Steel. And we've been doing the Final Destination films because there's a 6th film coming out. So those are the franchises we're talking about. But yeah, later this year we're going to do like From Dusk Till Dawn, Back to the Future because that's got a 40th anniversary. We'll eventually get to the Fantastic Fours because that new movie's coming out, which for every like 5 good things I see from that movie, there's like one thing that pisses me off. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm still figuring out the year.
You had a clip about doing the Crypt Keeper, I think.
Oh.
I think.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, well, we did. I did Demon Knight for its 30th anniversary, the Tales from the Crypt movie.
Tales from the Crypt. Thank you.
Yeah, right, claim it. So that's what happened. They took these characters that didn't work in comics and these concepts, and they gave them to other writers, other directors, other producers. Copyright claim it, so people just did the same thing. Like they didn't give Sam Wilson anything else. When they did Falcon, the only thing they were focused origin story is Sam Wilson's race. That was the only thing they were focused on. And then when they chickened out of that narrative for Captain America: Brave New World, they didn't want to offend anyone anymore. They gave Sam Wilson nothing. He had nothing in that movie. He had no character, and so he's just blank. And I look at Winter Soldier and see how Sam Wilson was written there, and he was given
the bizarre origin story.
These new versions of characters, Captain Marvel, new version of She-Hulk, any of them writing. It was just a disaster. And so they built up all that time in comics where they tore things down to promote those new characters, and then didn't take any note of the failure of that.
Yes, I'm hoping it's good. My hopes are low.
I can't believe the movie Slop that's come out in the last 25 years. Yeah.
My hopes are
I
low,
hope it's good
but I
too.
want
But
it to be
like,
good.
I've read the Born Again comic, and I have.
Yes, I'm hoping it's good. My hopes
Yeah,
are
I hope
low,
it's good
but I
too.
want it to
But
be
like,
good.
I've read.
Hope it's good.
Because it wasn't just like introducing more diverse characters in the comics, which comic books have always had diverse characters. I'm currently reading through the 80s Chris Claremont X-Men. Storm is the leader of the X-Men in those comics. And
Arnold, Bruce Willis, Chuck Norris, and Jean-Claude Van Damme as the villain. So good. Wasn't Dolph Lundgren the bad guy in the first one of them? Or was he? I don't know.
You're probably right.
that they can take over these characters and make them into their own kind of superheroes and their own kind of vision. And that's what's happening with Avengers Doomsday. Tony Stark was never Doctor Doom in the comics. They created an Avengers.
But yeah, that's it. I also have like Patreon.
Justify that happening in the movies, just like
You're probably right.
all these other characters.
No.
And it doesn't work, and it's like they get a superficial idea and think about how to market that, but they don't actually give any substance to this stuff. I think that Avengers Doomsday is going to be the Avengers Doom, literally. And I think that they kind of deserve that because they
Just Jean-Claude Van Damme's the villain, yeah.
I hoped against hope because, like, I was worried when that first happened because I had seen what happens in comics. It's like, is this all that Disney sees? Is are they just going to be focusing on the aspect of having the appearance of diversity?
I got all my live streams there.
Substance, but I was rooting for Sam Wilson as Captain America to work, and I was hoping that they actually had thought behind it. That it was actually just, you know, because he makes more sense because he doesn't have the baggage of Bucky Barnes, who was Captain America first in the comics. But then they made Bucky Barnes a congressman, so that's out the door. And then they had bad faith to their fans. They had to change his character in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then they had to,
Yeah.
you know, do all this other stuff with the other characters, with She-Hulk and all that. They had
How do
bad
you
faith
get
towards
how do you get the guests for your show? What kind of strategy do you use? Just
criticisms that they weren't actually giving these characters good writing, and so you made your Red Lion at moment. I'm sorry that you abandoned us and didn't listen to our criticisms and didn't listen to the
bizarre
red
origin
flags.
story.
I'm gonna do more solo videos like that. I can spoil the one I have coming up. You know,
Oh, the Crypt Keeper, I think.
Oh yeah, we did. I did Demon Knight for its 30th anniversary, the Tales from the Crypt movie.
Tales from the Crypt.
And-
Thank you.
Yes, and it inspired me to go back and watch the series because I didn't see enough of it growing up, and I never owned the DVDs or anything. So I've seen Tales from the Crypt, just not as much as I would have liked. And because there's a bunch of legal issues around who owns it, it's like not streaming. But that also means no one can take it down on YouTube because no one knows who should copyright claim it. So people have just been uploading them to YouTube. So I've just been watching Tales from the Crypt on YouTube.
Tales from the Crypt is a
There was
great
whole
show.
episode that was about the Crypt Keeper's origin story. And I was like, wait, that fucker has an origin story?
Oh, the bizarre origin story.
I'm going to do more solo videos like that. I can spoil the one I have coming up. You know, Daredevil Born Again is coming out.
Yes, I'm hoping it's good.
Yeah, I hope it's good too, but like, I've read the Born Again comic and I have the Born Again comic, and I was skimming through it and I'm like, oh, none of this shit's going to be in the series. So I'm going to do like a video where it's like 5 or 10 things from the comic that definitely won't happen in the show. Because they've already covered a lot of it. So it's like the Kingpin finding out he's Matt Murdock. It's like, well, they already did that. I think they're just using the Born Again name because they're coming back. I don't think the show will have anything to do with that movie.
You're probably right.
But yeah, that's it. I also have like Patreon. I'm doing a lot of commentary tracks and stuff on Patreon. I've always got something going. Gonna try and live stream some more. I haven't been live streaming as much as I wanted to just because I've been busy after the holidays, but I want to get back to playing some games. Mostly like horror and movie-based games. So check out. I have a second channel, Hack Movies Clips and Streams, but I also have a Twitch, so you can check out all my live streams there.
How do you get the
Bruce Willis' best role was the TV series Moonlighting with Sybil Shepherd. I've never watched that. I think the first Die Hard movie is excellent. It is excellent. Die Hard is an excellent movie. Poor Bruce Willis.
You can check out all my live streams there.
How do you get the guests for your show? What kind of strategy do you use? Just curious.
Well, I mean,
YouTube advice.
I just have regular co-hosts.
And normally I don't react to smaller channels because I believe they just want the attention, but in circumstances like this, I do feel comfortable reacting because I don't believe the extra set of eyeballs on their channel will benefit them in any sort of tangible way because their opinions are just that bad. So what we're going to do here is react eventually to this video, which kind of
Strategy
sums
do
up
you use?
everything
Just
that's going on.
Well, I mean, I just have regular co-hosts that are just like friends of mine or creators that I know. Do you mean like special guests, like when I interview someone, or?
Yeah.
Right here, and kind of give you a sense of what we're dealing with. So, video number 1 in this series has unironically bad faith.
Hopefully they're the right level of fame where it won't be ignored.
Of course, in bad faith. And you can see the like-dislike ratio. It's not
What a
great.
surprise.
20 likes, 200 dislikes. And this is, you know, a video that neither I or Asmongold have reacted to yet.
Someone,
so this is
or-
just the market reacting. This is the video
Usually I
of the
just shoot
wild.
him a
All
message.
natural, right? Still doing
Well, Mark
bad
Metcalf,
And
I
with
just
this,
met him at
you know,
Monster Mania,
there's a lot to
and I
break
just
down,
asked
but
for his
again,
email.
brevity's sake,
So he
let's
was
just
able to
see
do
a
that.
small portion of
We
this
had Joe
video.
DeRosa on the
Essentially,
show.
they're criticizing
He
me
had
as
gone
well
on a
for talking about
podcast and
various
said
issues
he
like
wanted to
USA,
collaborate with me, and
D,
fans
Gamergate,
sent me that
things like
clip.
that. So,
So I like DM'd him, and it turns out my co-host Crystal actually knew him, so she shot him a message. Usually you just gotta message people and hope they're not like too big that it'll be ignored. Or if you meet them in person, try to meet them in person and try to build up a little connection there and see if they're interested in being on the show. I know a few years back I had
Avoiding my training. Is that what we're calling work now? I have so much stuff I need to edit on top of this week.
Josie from Fish Tank on the show because I became a meme because I was one of the guys who wore her shirt and everyone made fun of us.
This is that retard on Twitter
But yeah, she saw the meme and thought it was funny, and fans kept tagging us, so I was able to get her because of that. But yeah, I wish I had a clear answer. It's just ask, and hopefully they're the right level of fame where it won't be ignored.
Okay. Well, I have a little bit more time with you. That's okay. So I'll just ask this extraneous question. You were in LA recently.
Yes.
You got to hang out with in LA recently.
Okay, so they're basically saying
yes.
You got to hang out
Asmongols are freaking out over Yasuke. We hate Yasuke because he's a black man in a video
with
game,
mutual friends show.
whatsoever. People are
How
now
was
trying
that?
to
I have very interesting
Yasuke
things.
is a character in Ubisoft's implementation of this character because he's simply a black man. They're doing it because Ubisoft, through their own actions, have made a very dishonest portrayal of this historical figure while also claiming they are historically accurate and they respect Japanese culture. Meanwhile, they're claiming he's a samurai when that is a very highly contested claim, and their only real source for that seems to be Thomas Lockley, who wrote a 400-page
Well, I have a little bit more time with you. That's okay. So I'll just ask extraneous question. You were in LA recently.
Yes.
You got to hang out with mutual friends show. How was that? I have very interesting things.
It was an experience. Everyone keeps saying, why did I do that? And I was like, one, just to cut down on costs. I needed a free place to stay. And two, I kind of knew it would be really funny. I kind of knew that I would get a lot of material out of that. And also I had this thing you needed someone to hang out with. But yeah, that was an experience. We had a
for a second, and that's how they start off this whole thing. And they just, yap over and over again about USA ID. They have a big issue with us.
Don't avoid the training. Not avoiding training. I have so much work to do.
They don't believe that Asmongold and myself actually believe our own.
It was an experience. Everyone keeps saying, why did I do that? And I was like, one, just to cut down on costs. I needed a free place to stay. And two, I kind of knew it would be really funny. I kind of knew that I would get a lot of material out of that. And also I had this thing you needed someone to hang out with. But yeah, that was an experience. We had a fun Costco trip where we made fun of the Costco guy. We did our own Costco guy video.
Video defacing store property. Yeah.
If you look at all of his videos, you can clearly see they have a slant to them. His commentary oftentimes appeal hard.
I mean, how do you say that when every video is bad about somebody?
Awesome.
How do you do that? I mean, I feel like this is like, what are you talking
I just edited a video about what they're talking about right now. It came out last week on the Biggest Problem channel.
Guy video.
Video defacing store property. Yeah.
Look, I'm not like super against it. We're like, yeah, they probably should have taken that off to sell the floor model. But like, where I draw the line is that I'm not the employee, so I'm not going to do it. He's like, I'll help, and I'm like, well, you're not actually getting paid to do this. Why don't you just leave it alone? But yeah, LA was a good time. I did a bunch of videos with Dick Masterson out there. We did his baby's gender reveal. I got to be on the big gender reveal episode of the Dick Show.
Awesome.
So that was it.
Because I enjoy these topics, especially
Channel is just shitting on people, but they accuse you of always shitting on people? Of course.
Boss. Gaming. Now, we also see what she's reacting to here, and she spends the entirety of this video reacting to...
Work is inconsequential compared to the training. She wants me to play this game called Pixel Gun. It's like some Roblox thing. I don't want to learn how to play that. I have no more room in my brain to remember things. Which means that if I learn how to play Pixel Gun, something important's going to get pushed out.
video defacing store property. Yeah.
Now, in that video, I talked about.
I got to be on the big gender reveal episode of the Dick Show.
Awesome.
So that was an experience. And then me and him shot a video for my channel that won't come out until like June, for the 30th anniversary of Judge Dredd, starring Sylvester Stallone.
See, you're thinking ahead. You have like all these things neatly scheduled.
That's fine, but I'm just raising that for context because the video was age restricted as a result. And in this video, Food Shops claims that like I'm trying to morally grandstand here and have this performative outfit.
All these things neatly scheduled.
Not neatly, but yes, there are. When it comes to anniversaries, I try to shoot those ahead of time. Just because, you know, it's something I can have on the back burner, and then when the time comes, this year I'm really trying to film a bunch of things bulk early, so I have time to go away to like LA and not have to stress about like uploading videos.
That makes sense. Yeah, and you do a lot of cons. You're a con guy.
Sort of drama or anything like that that happens, it's just people making shit up, and
Well,
they
someone
don't
has to.
actually even care about whether it's true or not. Their goal is to just spread negative information about somebody that people don't like. That's it. That's literally all there is to it.
I covered was
Well, someone has to.
but then I get put an age restriction, then that appeal rejected within 5 minutes for sexual content, including nudity, which obviously didn't happen. But they tried to, in bad faith, misrepresent what I'm doing. And also throughout this video, to wrap this one up, they basically try to gaslight the viewer into believing that I don't have any clue how YouTube works.
See, you're thinking ahead. You have like all these things neatly scheduled.
Not neat.
That makes sense. Yeah, and you do a lot of cons. You're a con guy.
Not as many as I would like. I do
It's not Roblox. I said that to get a rise out of Roxanne.
That makes sense. Yeah, and you do a lot of cons.
It looks kind of like Roblox, though.
Not as many as I would like. I do a lot of local events. But the big cons I do are... Well, I haven't had a table too many games. I just kind of am at too many games every year. But I do Monster Mania every time it's in Oaks, PA. And I do VHS Fest at the Mahoning Drive-In in Pennsylvania, which is a fun weekend. That's a really good weekend. And I have a local brewery near me called the Chamonix Creek Brewery in Croydon, and I usually am at their screenings. I'll be there. Well, at the time of this recording, it's already passed. But if you follow them or me, you'll know when I'm there in Croydon, Pennsylvania. You can find me just hanging out in a brewery watching really bad movies on VHS.
Well, someone has to.
Yeah.
I guess I have a little more.
About things that just aren't true. But then we hit the third installment of this saga. Asmongold messed up big time.
Oh my god. Bro, where do these people come from? Uh-oh.
It's over. I can't even
What could it possibly be?
This is definitely a title and thumbnail.
I guess I have a little more time to kill.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. I'll see what
Ask whatever
Chris
you
thinks of
want.
this. Okay.
Sorry, I feel like I'm low energy, or I'm talking
you are
too
fine.
much. I feel like I'm
am low
going back and
energy
forth.
too. That's not your fault.
I'm in like performer mode, so I'm trying to say a lot of things, but also my body is like, stop talking, shut down.
He totally has
You.
explore politics on his stream. But if a very large streamer does cover it, I expect a bit more output. And so, where there's politics, there is Asmongold falling off.
You are. Yeah, you're like all my interactions with you. You're a pretty chill guy. But I think in the last year, I don't know why, you do keep getting dragged into online drama. And I'm like, well, that's interesting.
Oh, jeez.
Every video, at least
So
hundreds of thousands of views, some hovering
How
around
does that keep happening?
in many cases.
Yeah.
Wow.
6 million in 2 days. And then you got the
Wow,
channel.
guys.
Same thing where it's 900K in 9 hours, 900K in 22 hours, so on and so forth. Like,
Yeah,
he's also
guys.
just
Yeah.
statistically speaking, the biggest political commentator on Twitch right now. So
disingenuous explanation of what he's doing. But speaking of disingenuous, let's listen to this next part where she describes not only some things about
It's interesting.
I think it's just the company I keep. You know, some people would have stopped being friends with the wonderful Riley and Mint Salad, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep being their friend. And I stood by them because I knew he was innocent that whole time.
Yeah.
It's kind of going away.
Yeah, I did kind of accidentally cause that whole Eric July drama for the biggest problem in the universe. Oops.
It was a little bit like that meme where they have the guy who has like, you know, it's like the huge stack of dominoes and
Yeah,
the little stack at the bottom.
I think Vito made one once.
His opinions are straight up trash. The objectively correct opinion here is that the U.S. uses their explosives on countries that they interfered with in the past. It's like blocking your friend's toilet
Because I just don't make fun of
and leaving without telling you. Regardless, Aspen Fox seems to watch this guy a lot and makes goofy faces.
I just don't make fun of Eric.
No. I don't think so. And so when it comes to a vote, I'm going to vote against that.
They're like, oh man.
No. Disagree. No generational guilt here. Not going to happen.
What are these criticisms? His eyebrows move too much. He makes funny faces. Like, damn. What does it have to do with anything? Like, that's not legitimate criticism. So, in this video, they're doing tricks on USA ID. I cannot believe anyone defends USA ID this hard. So,
Interesting.
I think it's just the company I keep.
the reason people don't feel bad about
You know, some people would have stopped being friends with the wonderful Riley and Mint.
campaigns where
It was a little bit like that meme where they have the guy who has like, you know, it's like the huge stack of dominoes and
Yeah,
the little stack at the bottom.
I think Vito made one once.
South America. Like, these things are ridiculous.
And you know, I profited the least off of all that because I just don't make fun of Eric. I mean, I make fun of Eric July, but I don't like do any shows or anything around. I'm like, oh man, everyone's profiting off of this, and I'm the one who kind of kicked it off. Damn it, damn it. Well, actually, Vito complaining about it kicked it off. I just kind of fanned the flames that I saw. I poured gasoline on the fire, really. All he had to do was put out an okay comic, and it all would have went away. And he just didn't do it. I didn't know. I didn't know it would be that bad.
I think people who do comics are just a little bit crazy.
Yeah, it's just like that. That's it. I mean, like, I think that this is one of the things that it's one of the big points that I think a lot of people are kind of realizing, especially like
That seems to my experience. Especially
I
people
will
who
not
are
be
like
making
on
a
YouTube.
comic book.
who feel a lot of cultural stress and a lot of financial pressure, and they are very against the idea of this generational guilt that because their grandfather or their grandfather's grandfather did something bad, that they now have to live in accordance to that. I think that's the way a lot of people feel. And that's the way I feel, at least, right? Like, I don't care about anything bad.
A little bit crazy.
I'm not going to do anything.
That seems to my experience.
Not for my country.
I will not be making a comic book. I went on another show where they're like, will you be making comics? I'm like, absolutely not. Not anytime soon. There's a lot going on right now with YouTubers making comics. And I'm like, I want no part of that.
Oh, they're not good. Well, a few are okay. Into the Badlands was all right. I'll give them credit. And
Well, it's not. And if I vote, the thing is that you can make that argument as much as you want, but that's not going to make me vote to send my money somewhere else to do something to solve a problem that's not beneficial to people in my country. You can use whatever argument you want. None of that is going to cause me to give my money away. That's it.
I'll give them credit. And
I had a friend do a really good one. Cameraman by Xander Arnott, Xanderflix. I backed that campaign. I used to work with him. But yeah, I followed the whole production of that comic, and I got it recently, and it's really, really good.
I might have to look that up then.
Yeah.
If we're going to go, if we're not going to give them money,
Yeah, I like Mint.
the world, and they're going to come. So like when we're paying them basically a ransom, that like we have to keep giving them money, or they're going to go to war with us. Doesn't sound like a good idea at all.
Psychopath for having that opinion, but that's the opinion I think most people in the world have. They don't want to be paying for foreign things going on that think that's a very human thing to do. But, like I said, they pretty much just complain the rest of the video here, and then we get to good stuff.
Oh, here we go.
Biggest problem with Asmongold fans, it's your fault.
Yeah.
It's your fault.
It's always the viewers.
Yeah, I like Mint and Riley. They're interesting.
I don't know. I think it's fine to spend a little to clean up some mess, to hold good relationships, but anything else is bullshit. I think to some degree it is, but if it's a big problem, then
They're
I
great.
wouldn't really take it that seriously. Yep, all right, this is you guys. Yep, sorry. Here we go.
They're great. Yeah, it was just also stupid. The whole thing from start to finish. I was just like, this is just.
That's rich.
Yeah, I don't think that's an American flag. What flag is that? It's not American.
Well, let's see what they have to say here. So, let's get right into the video.
My Asmongold versus Destiny got a lot of attention from a bunch of haters.
I'm always around drama. It's rarely about me.
Click off right now.
Drama is like that two-edged sword, because it feels like on digital stuff, like if you play it right, can really blow up your channel. But then I'm like, you're always fighting though. You're like always fighting with other people.
That's the thing, yeah.
Fighting.
Spicy intro. Clearly, they're very upset about the intro.
Exactly.
And they
They had a little home run with these videos.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, let's see what else they have to say.
That's a lot.
Exactly.
And they have.
What are my fans doing that's
The
bad?
YouTube algorithm values engagement above all else. Basically, it values how long someone can stay on YouTube.com. The common truth is that people who comment and like on a video will count as good engagement. But what if bad feedback and rage bait also counts as good engagement?
I mean, like, sort of, right? Like, I know
What does this
I've
have to
spoken
do
on
with
with
me?
That's us in the hamster wheel right now with
Only
Uplay.
serves to make my videos get more attention.
That's the thing. You don't want to be like. You don't want to fall into that where you need content.
Always fighting though. You're like always fighting with
That's
other
the
people.
thing, yeah.
If you don't want to look at
That's the thing. You don't want to be like. You don't want to fall into that where you need constant drama. I mean, that's why I feel like I'm annoyed with a lot of those anti-woke guys, because like, I agree with some of the things they're saying, but like, they're.
Okay, 118, 118.
You guys are really not beating the retard allegations. The best way to
15.
my videos get, and you can is to hover your cursor over my video and not click on it. By doing this, you're lowering my click-through rate. Impressions are the times of viewers
Like, I'm annoyed with a lot of those anti-woke guys, because like, I agree with some of the things they're saying, but like, they're overdoing it because they know that that is their meal ticket.
Exactly.
And they have to constantly be outraged and just assume everything is going to be bad and angry. I'm like, no, I mean, some of these things are actually good. Like, when they complain about diversity in films. Me, I'm just thinking from a business point. Like I said with Marvel, it's like, well, nerdy white guys are the ones that spend money on this, and you haven't been giving them anything. But I saw that movie Love Hurts with Ki Kwan Short Round from Indiana Jones. That had a very diverse cast, and I loved every minute of that movie, and that was like a good time. And I feel like a lot of those guys would avoid it because they're like, woke Hollywood. I'm like, no, but it's actually like a really good movie. What the fuck is wrong with all you assholes?
I love Short Round. I'm glad he's getting. I'm really happy with this this late narrative where his career all of a sudden picks up out of nowhere. That was nice.
And I know people are like shitting on Anthony Mack.
People try to figure out ways to not find common ground with that person.
That was nice.
It's almost like if you find common ground with a person that you normally disagree with, people view it as you kind of agreeing with their other previous opinions. Like, and I
I'm glad he's getting. I'm really happy with this this late narrative where his career all of a sudden picks up out of nowhere. That was nice.
And I know people are like shitting on Anthony Mackie because they don't like him as Captain America. I like him.
I recommend doing your homework before promoting content you don't like.
Also, like I said, I think they're being
Late narrative where his career all of a sudden picks up out of nowhere. That was nice.
And I know people are like shitting on Anthony Mackie because they don't like him as Captain America. I like him as Captain America. I just don't like what they're doing with it. But he was in one of my favorite shows. I love the Twisted Metal TV show. I don't know if you got to check out any of that.
I did. I interviewed David Jaffe when we talked about it. Yeah, I have seen the. Yeah, I have seen the. I have seen the.
Twisted Metal, the TV show, is really good. If you guys have fucking, I think it's on Peacock. It's worth like paying $5 for Peacock for a month just to watch that show. Maybe wait until season 2 comes out. A family friend stars as one of the Mike Mitchell, who's friends with my sister. He's in that show, and he's a big part of it, and he's hilarious. Also, he's a co-host of the Doughboys podcast, which is an awesome podcast you should check out. Never was a fan of Time Warner. One moment, please hold. Gotta grab a beer. Actually, I still have a drink in here.
David Jaffe when we talked about it. Yeah, I have seen the TV show.
Yes, that show was great.
TV show.
Yes, that show was great. That show was. It was phenomenal.
I got less than 10 minutes of this to cut. I'm gonna do the intro tomorrow.
I have seen the TV show.
Yes, that show was great. That show was phenomenal, and he was great in it. I'm like, I feel like, oh, those guys just didn't give it a shot.
That's the thing, right? I totally agree, because it's like one, don't always assume something's going to be bad because it doesn't fit whatever you seem to like. That just seems like, any complaints of wokery. That's
you haven't seen it, Frank? It's awesome.
You're just kind of doing the reverse mirror image. And number 2 is, there are usually multiple explanations for many things, and rarely the narrative that people have as popular actually is what happens.
It's a pretty fun series. Didn't look great, like the trailers, but it was fun.
Yeah.
And
I was very happy it got picked up for a second season, because it was released in weird times. This Adobe Premiere 2024, it moves, or maybe it's the SDD, it moves so much faster than it does on the HDD. Like, look at this. See how fast I'm flying through this? This would be so sluggish. On the other one, it would be moving like this. Like, I can't even... Like, this is how fast it would move if I was scrolling like this on the old one. And now here's how fast it goes now. Look at all this. Look at all the fucking edits.
I have seen the TV show.
Yes, that show was great. That show was phenomenal, and he was great in it. I'm like, I feel like, oh, those guys just didn't give it a shot.
That's the thing, right? I totally agree, because it's like one, don't always assume something's going to be bad because it doesn't fit whatever you seem to like. that just seems like, any complaints of wokery, that's what they would do, basically. And you're just kind of doing the reverse mirror image. And number two is, there are usually multiple explanations for many things, and rarely the narrative that people have as popular actually is what happened.
Yeah, yeah.
And they get both of those things so
They really,
wrong.
I've been saying this a lot.
Wow. People like me, we see this and say, yes, I understand.
Yeah, we look at this and we think maybe the people
Yeah.
in Japan have an opinion about it. Yeah, I wonder why.
And Japanese people are not a monolith, but it seems like the reception in Japan is
Samurai Wood was invented in 702 AD.
Yeah.
And these
Are you really
guys
expecting a random retard hater like content creator that just makes a bunch of negative videos about
like a lot of those
they disagree with? Are you really expecting them to have any thought into what they're saying at all? Like, you have to understand that like this is the manifestation of like those people on Twitter that will like spread misinformation.
like a lot of those.
And then when it gets found out that they were misinformation, they were just like, haha, I got
And
you,
everyone
I
just
don't
stopped
like you
listening to
anyway,
them.
so that's what you get.
And these guys.
Like, they're just rats, bro. Like, that's it. They're just rats.
They're really bad. And I think that's a fair conclusion to make
No.
On this subject. Now, returning to this, they just yap on and on. And just going over some other
No.
things,
The marriage.
it's honestly a waste of time.
Yeah,
So let's
no,
go to
they
the
do.
conclusion there. Closing.
Okay.
You really have to say it.
Taking the open mind approach to this content was a lot. It's not believe.
Also, the average basketball fan dropped the ball. Like, wouldn't that make more sense for me?
Like, yeah, whatever. Then I can't watch any.
Yeah, look at that. That looks a lot like him and a lot like, it doesn't look like me. This is ridiculous. They'll understand me in Japan. That's not even it.
Anyway, what is operating in a nefarious manner. He's trying to understand a lot about.
And the odd.
So I respect the different views. Okay. This is at least a nice comment. Okay. This first video is pretty rough. Okay, I'm not gonna deny that. I'm not gonna deny that.
Jesus.
Ramsey's guessing. Okay, this one has less comments. I mean, okay, guys, I just want to say that this video, all right, this video is way better.
Is bad.
Yeah, yeah.
And they get both of those things so
They
wrong.
really, I've been saying this a lot lately, but they really are like doing the SJW book, playbook, where like everyone got tired of SJW.
No time for
accusing
games.
Everything of being racist and problematic, and everyone just.
That's the reason why people aren't watching. Make better videos.
Cache is probably a breeze, but don't forget you have a new OS as well, so that helps. In other words, your PC has had a refresh. Yeah.
Stop listening to them.
Yeah.
And these guys don't realize that they are now doing that. And like,
So
they
wrong.
really, I've been saying this a lot lately, but they really are like doing the SJW book, playbook, where like everyone got tired of SJWs accusing everything of being racist and problematic, and everyone just stopped listening to them.
Yeah.
And these guys don't realize that they are now doing that. And like 3 years from now, people are gonna be like, "All right, yeah, it's woke. Who gives a shit? It was entertaining. Like, can you just shut up?" Like a lot of those, the what is it, feminist frequency? Are they even around anymore?
No.
The Mary Sue, like, remember they were all over the place, just yelling at entertainment, and everyone got tired of it. They're like, "Yeah, whatever." Then I can't watch anything.
And the odd woke thing is actually pretty good. Like,
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Yeah, I like that stuff.
Put together completely. So yeah, it's fucking.
and the odd woke thing is actually pretty good. Like,
Brony convention is like. I watched a YouTube video on it. Yeah, I did. And if there was one nearby, I would watch it. It's just so fucking funny for me to see this. But some of these people are completely fucking delusional. It's really sad.
exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna 100% an Arkham game because those damn Riddler trophies.
Actually pretty good. Like,
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Yeah, I like that stuff, actually. If you're building a multi-million-dollar franchise and you need to sell merch, you should just know that little girl Iron Man is not going to do well, and I don't know why you even entertain the idea.
Exactly.
I love that they started making all that stuff a while ago, and now they have to release it when everyone's just done with it. They're like, oh, no one's gonna watch Little Girl Iron Man, or what was that show that came out? I like the Hawkeye show, but then there was like, I'm Deaf Lady.
Yeah,
like,
Native American Hawkeye.
Yeah, and I
you know
was
what
like,
you're talking about. I can't think of her name though.
Oh,
yeah, Native American Hawkeye.
Yeah, and I
you know
was
what
like,
you're talking about. I can't think of her name though.
Echo.
You know what you're talking about. I can't think of her name though.
Echo, that's her name.
Yeah.
But I remember watching the show, I'm like, what a boring character. And then they went, she's getting her own space.
Yeah.
But I remember watching the show.
Is it like how people will
What the fuck would you do that?
like in other parts of their body and say that like they're tasting it, you know, like that's the thing is people.
But then there was like, I'm Deaf Lady.
Yeah, Native American Hawkeye.
Yeah, and I
you know
was
what
like,
you're talking about. I can't think of her name though.
Echo.
You know what you're talking
Deaf Lady.
Yeah, Native American Hawkeye.
Yeah, and I
you know
was
what
like,
you're talking about. I can't think of her name though.
Echo, that's her name.
Yeah.
But I remember watching the show, I'm like, what a boring character. And then they went, she's getting her own spin-off show. I'm like, why the fuck would you do that?
They got an actual.
Oh God. Oh God, sorry.
You're fine.
Echo, go to sleep. Oh, sorry.
You're
fine.
Echo.
It's a place that I learned in California, but I don't remember the name. Oh my god. Well, California is basically Mexico, so it doesn't count. The tacos are better there.
You're fine.
Echo, go to.
That's just unfair. Like any Mexican restaurant has better tacos than Taco Bell.
Sleep.
No, not any.
Sorry,
Not
my-
any. Some Mexican restaurants are fucked up to put like onions on there. It's just maybe what you have the area.
My Alexa goes by.
Some people have bad taste. Onions are normal? No. I'm not against Taco Bell. Taco Bell's okay if it's like the only option around here. Like as a fast food option.
My Alexa goes by that name, and this
funny.
happens a lot. I'm sorry.
Your last resort. It has to be fast food, right? Yeah. Fast food. Has to be fast food. What's it, Shake Shack? Shake Shack. Who the fuck is what? Shake Shack? Yeah, the little that doesn't count. Gourmet burger. Fancy one. They make burgers at Shake Shack? Is it Shake Shack and burger store? I thought it was like Jamba Juice. No, it's a burger store.
The woke thing is actually pretty good.
It's expensive though, so I only got it like twice a year. That's good. We're talking about
Like-
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Yeah, I like that stuff actually. If you're building a Hawkeye show, but then there was like, I'm Deaf Lady.
Yeah, Native American Hawkeye.
Yeah, and I
You know
was
what
like,
you're talking about. I can't think of her name though.
Echo, that's her name.
Yeah.
But I remember watching the show, I'm like, what a boring character. And then they went, she's getting her own spin-off show. I'm like, why the fuck would you do that?
They got an actual.
Oh God, sorry.
You're fine.
Echo, go to sleep. Sorry, my Alexa goes by that name, and this happens a lot. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say the problem was with that show is they were like, we should get an actual deaf Native American wounded veteran. Wouldn't that be great?
I can't believe they
But
found
can't
one.
that.
I can't.
What? I didn't even know they sell salad in McDonald's.
I can't.
Salad bowls. What? They don't have it anymore, but it wasn't fresh. Yes, the salads weren't fresh, but
Can't believe they found
can't
one.
that.
you know McDonald's is healthy. I don't know, but I saw it on Twitter, so I believe it. Well, yeah, but sure, I might be healthy. It might be healthy.
Even Agatha All Along, which I heard was okay. I only got 2 episodes into it.
That's chicken. Chicken is super healthy for you. Wait, McDonald's also has chicken burgers though. Yeah, and that's like healthy. So yeah, what I'm saying, if you think about that, you've got at least like 1 lettuce and 1 tomato. That's burgers, right?
Wouldn't that be great?
I can't believe
But
they
they
found
can't
one.
that.
But yeah, that was it, the Ironheart show. I'm like, oh, I would have just shelved this. Why are you doing this? Even Agatha All Along, which I heard was okay. I only got 2 episodes into it. It's like, we like the Agatha stuff for like a week, and then you guys greenlit a whole show, and then it came out like way too late. I'm like, I don't care about this anymore. Like, the moment's passed.
Yeah, and it's really tied hard to WandaVision also.
Yeah. Which I like.
I do like WandaVision, but
Yeah. Which I like.
What the fuck?
Then get the fucking chicken sandwich. What do you mean fucking filet-o-fish? What about a filet-o-fish is like a burger? It doesn't have lettuce. It is a burger. It is a burger. It's burger bun. Oh my god. Yeah, so does a chicken sandwich. Yeah, but like if you're not eating for meat, is what I'm saying.
This anymore. Like, the moment's passed.
yeah, and it's really tied hard to WandaVision also.
Yeah. Which I like.
I do like WandaVision, but I think it kind of didn't really define itself very well for who it was for.
Yeah. Yeah. It lost a bit of steam at the end.
Yeah, and
What? That's the best McDonald's menu. It had what? It had noodles in McDonald's. I don't think that would taste good. Yeah, it doesn't, but it's good. What do you mean? That's what makes it better. I literally just said it doesn't taste good. And you're like, yeah, no, it's not good. But
Hello, Salad143. I just followed you. Follow me back if you will.
it didn't really define itself very well for who it was for.
Yeah. Yeah. It lost a bit of steam at the end.
Yeah, and you being DC Comics, by the way, when I
Yeah.
was a big comic book reader, I think you can see some of them in my background. You were right in the 2010s what they would do, because they got caught in like it was almost like a reboot every 2 years, I swear, every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, there was like.
Yeah, with Flashpoint, yep.
so good. What do you mean it's so good? This sounds made up. No, it's an actual.
Yeah, with Flashpoint, yep.
Traditional Hawaiian food spam. Yeah.
It's really,
You know, in America, we have good traditional foods like hamburgers.
a reboot every 2 years, I swear, every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, there was like Infinite Crisis in 2006 was a good time to reboot. But then they did like Final Crisis, and then the New 52. And
Yeah,
I think
with
they did-
Flashpoint, yep.
Yeah, and Flashpoint and all that shit. I was like, okay. Like, I can't really get invested in this.
It is really interesting. This is the one that fascinates me to no end. How you watch how the fading popularity of the comic is now happening in the movie.
Yeah.
As they adapt the property.
So on February 21st, this song was on the Trash Taste podcast, and there's a flood of backlash in the comment section.
Yeah.
about
As they
Trash
adapt-
Taste having this dude on their show. Hassan is aware of the backlash, and he does not seem happy, making a number of responses.
The properties that were during that failing period of comics. It's just so interesting to me how much that kind of mirrors each other.
93,250 views with 15,566 dislikes, giving it a 49% dislike ratio. And this is after Hassan directed his viewers to essentially combat what he's calling the brigading. So presumably before he did that, this was an even worse ratio. I'll show you the clip where he does issue that statement.
That kind of mirrors each other.
And I think like Marvel is trying to adapt comics made under the Disney ownership, so they don't have to pay out like as much to previous people. I feel like that's why they're also pushing a lot of characters that were created under Disney's control like the new Miss Marvel and all those other characters. They're like pushing them because they created them, so they probably have different contracts. Marvel is apparently like really bad at paying creators. So yeah.
Yeah, that is what Ethan Van Sciver says.
Well, yeah, there was like that thing. Who?
I love how they can't get 30 seconds into the episode without this dude bringing politics up. Seriously, 30 seconds. Anyways, taking a look at the top comments, we've got I'd prefer my anime discussion not to involve a guy who celebrated the death of innocent civilians in no less than 2 different recent modern conflicts, and who carries water for
Creators. So yeah.
Yeah, that is what Ethan Van Sciver says.
Marvel is apparently like really bad at paying creators. Apparently like really bad at paying creators.
Happily endorsed an R-word apologist. I looked up to you guys when I was young. I thought you were different. I'm incredibly hurt and disappointed seeing this. And right below that comment, another one that reads, "Who thought having this song is a good idea? This isn't just a simple drama that can be ignored. That's like saying 9/11 is just drama, then proceed to have Bin Laden or Al-Qaeda members as guests to talk about their favorite video games." Other comments talk about how people are dropping trash taste over the slap. For example, this
Marvel is apparently like really bad at paying creators.
Yeah, that is what Ethan Van Sciver says.
Well, yeah, there was like that thing. Who created Thanos?
It's not
I
rough.
think.
I was gonna say.
Well, yeah, there was like that thing. Who created Thanos?
It's not
I
Rob.
think.
I was gonna say it's not Rob Liefeld. Like he recently.
No.
He
From what I
recently
heard-
had a big thing with Disney. Right.
More comments talking about dropping trash taste right below those. For example, this one also reading, been following both Joey and Giga since 2015, but now I'm unsubscribing. Not gonna watch someone who endorses
Recently.
No.
by posting.
He
From what I
recently
heard-
had a big thing with
These comments were just some of the comments that you find by sorting by top comments. And it seems like there's thousands, if not tens of thousands of comments where people share similar sentiment. Interestingly enough, the pinned comment is from Trash Taste.
He recently had a big thing with Disney.
And have never deleted comments on any episodes. And this is because a number of people have been accusing them of deleting comments that are critical of the song. For example, this tweet
AG
Sterling?
Trash Taste is getting heat for having a song featured on the podcast and then deleting comments critical of him. Included our screenshots, and we'll take a look at these real quick. This one reading, sad to see they have to delete so many comments. I like Trash Taste, but this is very disappointing.
Okay, it's not Jim Sterling. It's Jim
The
Starlin.
second screenshot reading, deleting all the comments hating on Hassan is wild though. And the next screenshot reading, funny how this comment section suddenly started blazing Hassan after ripping him apart. Don't think we didn't notice
They
the
don't
top
play as
comment
many
got
games.
removed. That account making a follow-up tweet that reads, even the Trash Taste Reddit wasn't impressed.
Yeah.
Going on to quote, first time seeing a 50% like to dislike ratio on a Trash Taste
Yeah,
episode.
they will still on
Now,
occasion
these
still be
comments are
weird
just
games. Like
gone. Is the person who manages the channel actually deleting them? Taking a look at the provided screenshots, we can see
Probably.
there's actually a lot more to that comment. The full comment reading. The first thing I did when this episode came out was scroll down the comments. There were hundreds of
I forget. I'm trying to think. There's this ice.
Some of them had
There's this. I remember for the Flash though. There's this female ice villain, and they're
Killer Frost.
Killer Frost, and they changed her name.
Wow, that would be low. As we already went over,
And they're-
Killer
Trash
Frost.
Taste made a very brief response denying that any comments were deleted. Still, it's very interesting that
Killer
comments
Frost,
on Reddit
and they changed her name slightly. They're like, this isn't Killer Frost. This is like, this is off-brand Killer Frost. Not the same thing. Therefore, we have to pay you nothing. So.
Seems like Hassan has brigaded his community to quote unquote get in and actively counter the brigade
No.
and linking to a tweet that we'll take a look at next. As for the post itself, it got 563 upvotes
Nothing.
before being locked by the moderator.
So
With this mod,
they do some of that too, but it's not as bad.
Yeah.
that says,
Yeah.
anyone reading this, if you are not interested in talking about the actual content of the Trash Taste podcast episode, please don't make comments. All you're doing
Yeah.
is making the commentary harder,
Ugh.
where we'll just
Why?
have to log certain posts and remove
Well,
posts
Tony,
as
this
well.
has been fun.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to help the situation. Well, this presents a very fun opportunity. Let's take a look at some of the top comments on that post that the mod apparently doesn't like. Well, at least ones that the mod or mods didn't yet remove. For example, this top response that talks about how pathetic it is to issue something
So they do some of that too, but it's not as bad.
Yeah.
Well, Tony, this has been.
And this one saying, we wait for another Connor Damage Control short
do some of that too, but it's not as bad.
Yeah.
Boy. Well, Tony, this has been fun. I appreciate you taking the time to be on the show. Appreciate you taking the time to be on the show.
Lock the post and direction to remove comments. Okay, with that context, let's hop over
Off-brand killer floss, not the same thing. Therefore, we have to pay you nothing. So they do some of that too, but it's not as bad.
Yeah.
Boy. Well, Tony, this has been fun. I appreciate you taking the time to be on the show. Everyone should check out Hack the Movies. It's a fun show. I like putting on the background while I'm doing stuff and just listen to you guys go through movies, and you are always so well informed. You're really well.
That's not true. I screw up every once in a while, and the comment section will call me out, but thank you.
It's more homework than I probably should be doing more homework for this show.
Just the icing on the cake. But wait, there's another clip to take a look at. This one that reads, Chatter tells Hassan he's out of touch,
Like you do.
which he didn't appreciate.
Because sometimes we'll stare into the darkness on this
Like you do.
podcast. Like we'll look at like what they're saying.
Is there any project?
How like journalists are still covering this guy in a positive way. What the is going on? And it's like, dude.
Like you're really well.
That's not true. I
detailed.
screw up every once in a while, and the comment section will call me out, but thank you.
It's more homework than I probably should be doing more homework for this show. Like you do. Is there any project coming up or anything where you want people to go check you out? What should they do, Tony from Hack the Movies?
Hack the Movies on YouTube.
No, brother, I'm not the one who's out of touch. The people that are going, we hate you because we think this person is an evil person, me.
They're waiting for you.
We think your friend that you know better, okay, is actually secretly an evil person because we've seen YouTube videos from rabid haters. Is an active line of attack.
What should they do, Tony from Hack the Movies?
Hack the Movies on YouTube for pretty much all my stuff. Hack the Movies clips and streams on YouTube for my live streams. Go to Twitch if you want to see me live. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter. Just look up Hack the Movies. You'll find me pretty much everywhere. And if you like what you see, head over to patreon.com/hackthemovies where I have tons of commentary tracks and stuff there waiting for you.
All right. Yep. Check it out. Yeah. Okay, we're going to wrap this up here. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to watch Culturescape. This show would not be possible without the help of my wonderful editor, Chris Hollywoodkey, who makes me look way more competent than I actually am. And, of course, viewers like you. You guys are the reason why I keep doing this. Thank you for watching the show. It's much appreciated. Until next time, friends, keep geeking out.
I did it. It's over. Well, I probably have to work on it another hour tomorrow for the intro. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours to do this one.
All right. Thank you so much, Tony.
Whoop, whoop. It's off the record. Alright, I got my notes. I'll finish this up tomorrow, maybe during the day. Yeah. Finish this up tomorrow. It is an hour and 16 minutes total. Look at it. Isn't it beautiful? Look at all them cuts.
I got lots of weirdos roaming the web recently. It's okay to
Put some respect on my name.
That's right. How about we play some fucking Vampire Survivor before I go? Yeah, I want this one to look real nice, so that next time Tony needs an editor, he'll think of this guy. I need another beer. One moment, please hold. Wait till you dip into After Effects. You're gonna hate how the clipboard looks. What? With all the effects, visuals, fades, etc.
Bird up. Hello.
Vampire Diaries. Symphony of the Night. Never played that.
The good part about it is that it actually convinced a lot of people to learn about history. Like you would play Assassin's Creed, and you would read the codex, and you would read the trivia about Italy and Florence and stuff like that, and that would motivate you to then start looking at some documentaries, maybe reading some historical texts. Like it was an educational game. It's how many people that I know from the internet actually got into learning about history and learning about the Vatican and the various popes that were there. Like the game stimulated them to learn that. But as the series goes, we end up in Greece, and the people who make Assassin's Creed, they even said, look, we have like this image on a piece of pottery that has a teacher schooling a boy and a girl. Now we know that during that time era, women weren't allowed to become scholars, but we wanted to be inclusive. So like at that Assassin's Creed, the one where they also introduced a female character that looked like a man, and like no one acknowledges that she's a woman, no one wolf whistles her, no one is puzzled that the woman is carrying weapons. Like it's pretty much like playing as a male character is just like a cosmetic choice. Like that's the game where they're starting pushing for inclusivity, and that's the game where again they stopped caring about history and they were trying to insert their values. Now, the interesting thing with Yasuke is that while they pushed for this thing that Yasuke is a Japanese person, is a person from the history of Japan and his big thing, you notice that Wikipedia changed their articles. You notice that in the West, the journalists changed their talking points. Like for a while, they were actually trying to convince Westerners that no, like Yasuke was this important Japanese historical.
You never played Symphony of the Night? I'm not even sure what it is. Is that one of the Castlevania games? I am fucking terrible at those. I've never gotten past like the first. I've never gotten past like the second level in any Castlevania game. I've never tried that hard, but.
And you're trying to sell it off into our country, and we're going to make sure that everyone knows about it. Like we're going to put you into the spotlight. We're going to criticize you in front of all these people. Like you're not allowed to sell your game here, but we're going to give you like a massive ideological push to make absolutely sure that everyone knows what they're buying. And so this is when they're starting to backtrack, and they're like, well, no, actually, okay, well, it's just a game. Well, it's just fiction, bro. But let's put it this way. If people genuinely believe that everything Ubisoft says about Yasuke is true, like the story of Yasuke from Ubisoft is true, because this happened in the past, by the way. You know, like someone released a historical movie that took a lot of artistic creativity and took a lot of different interpretations, and then it actually changed the culture. Dance with the Wolves is one of them. Like people watch Dance with the Wolves, and the myth of the noble savage in tune with nature, and they're in harmony with the nature. Like that actually became cultural thing. And you can actually accomplish the same with video games. And so if people would have genuinely believed that, like, yeah, Yasuke is a real figure and everything he did in Ubisoft video game Assassin's Creed is what he did in real life, do you honestly think that people from Ubisoft would have came out and said, well, like, you know, it's just like a story, it's just a fiction, we don't really... No, they would have doubled down and they would have insisted that, yeah, no, this is actually historically accurate and blah, blah, blah. How do I know? Because Wikipedia did it. Right? Like Wikipedia actually was changing articles and was banning people that were demanding for proof that Yasuke was a samurai and he played an important role within Japanese culture. And so it's kind of hilarious to see now Ubisoft going around Japan and trying to apologize and please don't sue us, Japanese government, because apparently I don't know exactly how the religion in Japan operates, but there is an organization that cares about Japan's temples and their images, and they're thinking about suing Ubisoft. The recent accusations that in the game you will be able to loot the Emperor's tomb for Japanese relics, that also is problematic because Japan does have laws to defend against slander towards the imperial house. It might not be good for Ubisoft. It would be hilarious if it's like the only Western game that actually gets banned in Japan. I don't know if it will go that far, but they're really pushing the envelope. Like they're really struggling. Again, it's like the fact that how shit they are at their job. Like even I, who am not an expert, would tell you, yeah, you know, just don't pick about the royal house. Like don't actually have the main character rob the royal tomb inside the game. Like that's crazy. I would have said the same about England, by the way, even though there are no laws there. You would be able to tell them like, no, look, when it's about the royal house, you know, like don't have Lara Croft rob the tomb of some British king. No. There have been mangas that I understand which got cancelled over this, but there also have been mangas which managed to depict like the Emperor of Japan during World War II, but they depicted him in a positive light, right? Like they depicted him in a historical accurate way, and that wasn't the problem. But they're very touchy when it comes to the royal house, the imperial house, right? As a company, you should kind of try to stay away from that. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the comment section. Take care.
Handcrafted and assembled in America. Sofa. Luxury mattresses made affordable.
Ever dreamed of feeling like you're on your own private yacht? Sail unique with Explorer Journeys.
Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles. And what do you do if somebody leaves a bad Yelp review on your restaurant, your place of business? Apparently you put a bounty on them. And this is what happened. There's a ramen shop owner who put a cash bounty on the heads of customers who left him a bad review, said, I will deal with you. This is in, of course, Japan, in Kyoto. And it's been making the rounds. Like, normally we don't cover stuff like this, but it does kind of cross over with the WTF and anime news that we do cover. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. New York Post is talking about it. We'll talk about it.
This is
I saw
WTF story.
I saw it the other day, and I'm like, what the hell? Apparently, they took it down since then. But yeah, they were offering like 100,000 yen bounty on these people's heads. So before we get into it,
They mean their identity. Like
their identity
They
is
don't
not
want
like
them dead.
no, don't bring their heads to.
Clarify that. They don't want them dead.
It's not gonna be like 8 heads in a duffel bag, right? Bring me the heads of the guys who didn't like my ramen. Let's talk about it. Oh my god, that would be a manga. That would be a light novel. I put a bounty on the heads of the person who left a bad review on my ramen shop, and somebody brought their head in the bag, and then I went to another world and became a slime girl.
There you go.
I'm gonna make that comic. Make it
No,
so.
you're not.
Alright, so before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants. Guys, you will get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Check out clownfishtv.substack.com. We're going to try to do backup notifications for those of you who are not getting notified of new videos on YouTube. Some of you are. A lot of you aren't.
Holy shit.
Substack, it will send you an email every time we
Holy
video,
shit.
And we'll try it that way. We'll see if we can get more of you to watch the videos as they're posted, not like 3 days later. And people are like, I didn't realize you put new videos up. Oh, yeah, thanks, YouTube. Anyway, it's coming from the New York Post, and they got it from Anime Galaxy, I think. But it's a ramen shop owner places a cash bounty on the heads of customers who left them a bad review. I'll deal with you. They got served. A ramen shop placed a bounty on the heads of 2 male customers who left them a bad review. The owner of Toyojiro, a highly rated Jiro-style ramen restaurant in Kyoto, took to Instagram to declare war, threatening the duo who slapped his eatery with an awful 1-star review. So this is the.
Were they like trolling, or was it like, did they deserve it? You know, because it's basically like, if you give me 1 star, I'm going to come after you. What
Yeah.
deserves a 1 star? But honestly, not a very fun trolling.
He also posted their photo along with a cash reward to.
Shit, he put their picture up.
Yeah, whoever could identify them. So Deserto has. Let's see here. This is where I saw it at originally. Yeah, I saw your post and you seem a bit weird, the owner said on Instagram. We try not to treat people like you as customers, so it's fine, but you should probably avoid eating it. Someday, someone like eating out. Someday, someone like you will get screwed. I don't care. Just come directly and I'll deal with you.
Yeah, that makes me want to go see you, dude.
Yeah, his threat continued. We run a planned business, so if you get in our way, we'll get in the way of yours too. Damn.
Oh, shit.
The owner said there was room for forgiveness. His warning described
That doesn't sound like it.
what would happen. Man, you want to talk about like soup Nazi? This guy's like the ramen Nazi. His warning described what would happen to the group if they didn't come forward and make things right. The only thing he could do is come back, eat again, write a good review with a photo. I told him I won't forgive him otherwise, not even for the safety of his family. Maybe he is talking 8 heads in a duffel bag. If he does that, he'll be killed right away. This kid is so scared, he'll really do it, so he better just come back and eat.
There's gotta be some translation issues there somewhere.
I don't know.
You're like, fucking, you better come back and eat again and give me a good review. It's like, what? Now, how is it supposed to be honest?
The owner, I'm afraid to eat there. I'm like, I would not eat there at this point just because the owner is freaking the hell out about this review.
Is it worth like a gun to make sure you give a review at the table or what?
I don't know. The owner also asked social media users to give him any information they had on the 2 men who left the negative review, offering them 100,000 yen, which is only $662.
How do you know who did it?
I don't know. Let's see, a post about the situation went viral on X, garnering over 33 million views, with many ramen fans baffled by the owner's comments about his customers. I like ramen. Now I want to go to a place like this, and I don't recommend it. The owner's comments are dangerous to the store's dignity and reputation. If they took it seriously, they would be perceived as a better store. I think it's a shame because it's such a good restaurant. Despite the backlash, it's unlikely this incident would make ramen any less popular anywhere in the world. The dish is a staple. Japanese culture. Blah, 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 blah. So is this the original post? Did they take it down? Let's see here. I'm going to have to do a translation on this one. Alright, so here's Grok's English translation of it. Please share ramen shop code Toyojiro in Kyoto, which ranks 2nd in the Kyoto ramen database, publicly revealing customers' faces, and offering a bounty for leaving a low-rated review. Customer leaves low-rated review because the shop service was poor. Shop responds with messages like, if you write pointless review, we'll track you down, we'll beat you up, and so on. Damn!
Oh, man!
This sounds like this.
I'm not more organized crime because a stubborn old man.
Oh my god. The condition for forgiveness is to come back and post a high-rated review like, you eat your damn ramen, you smile in that picture, and you take a picture, it's like at gunpoint, oh, your ramen is so delicious!
Yeah, but the only way I'll accept it is that you have to come back and rewrite your review and give it a good review, or we're gonna do what?
Again, this sounds like a light novel. Like, you will come back to my ramen shop and give me a good review and post a photo with your smiling happy faces, or I will kill you and your family.
I know, it's just like, you can't make this up.
Could you imagine? I mean, I know that people review bomb on Yelp. I know that they do, because anybody can leave a review on Yelp. I mean, I feel so bad for restaurants and stuff, because you could give them the best service ever, they get them the best meal ever, they can have a hair up their ass about something. I know people have had comic book shops and stuff that people didn't like them, or they invited the wrong person to the shop and they've gotten review bombs.
Well, cons, same thing, and we know
Yeah.
that like too, like it's not like it's like something gets leaked that this place did something, whether they did or didn't, but because they said they did, they'll go and leave bad reviews. They did.
Okay,
They posted their faces.
They posted their faces.
How do they know they're the ones that give bad review though?
I don't know.
But like, do you like watching their phones?
Probably. Like, well, that 1-star review came in as they were slurping their noodles. I'd be more worried about that.
They didn't like your noodles.
Shit, werewolves. Alright, this is the farthest I've gotten.
That looks good.
I died when the werewolves showed up last time. I need health.
Here's the number of 1-star reviews. There's not more than just their 1-star review.
Yeah, 62 reviews. So it could be there are 2. But they're saying.
But there was like a 2 and 3 and 4 would imply there's only 1 or 2 on those. 1 still has a lot.
So I'm sitting here like, okay, let me get this straight. You've only got 62 or 66 reviews, and this is supposed to be the 2nd highest rated ramen shop in Kyoto?
I guess by 5 stars, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. Like, are there not a lot of people there? I thought there were a lot of people there. I don't know. Like, you would expect there to be like thousands of reviews or something, but yeah, I don't know, guys. That's kind of crazy,
I
right?
think it's funny. I mean, it's really.
Yeah, so Anime Galaxy Official actually has their faces. No, they're not blurred out. I'm not going to show them, but I didn't realize it was... Man. This is crazy, yeah. So they said they justified the actions, the shop, the restaurant, yeah, said he justified the actions by claiming they are serious about making ramen. They're only trying to protect their reputation from damaging reviews. Again, threatening people's lives, putting a bounty on their heads, is not going to help. It's not going to help the case, dude. Reportedly, the store is looking to expand to Asia and the U.S., leading them to take extreme measures to maintain a positive public image.
Okay, this isn't how. Actually, this story has done more damage to than anything.
So this is interesting. Yeah, people were posting responses. Said netizens were quick to react, and many others who had previously visited the shop shared their experiences. One user noted that the restaurant enforces strict rules, even prohibiting customers from posting their menu online. Those who attempt to do so are reportedly threatened with having their names and photos leaked on the internet. Okay, that's not going to fly. If you're going to expand into
The game
the US
is muted.
and the rest of Asia, like you're not going to be able to police people.
Oh, the desktop audio is turned off in this side. That's weird.
This guy sounds like a damn super Nazi. He does. He's the ramen Nazi. Gyro-style ramen restaurants are already known for their aggressive and intense atmosphere, just like their ramen, thick as udon, tough as nails. The staff at these establishments can be intimidating. However, while some ramen shops may have their own unique personalities, expecting a warm and friendly service is often unrealistic. Just throw it down on the table.
I mean, they have restaurants here too. That basically you go there to get insulted. But I don't know if that's what this does. But it's just like someone giving a bad review. They really want to bring their stuff over here. Now it's just blown up to the bad PR. It's like, times 100 at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I would not have publicly posted their photos or threatened them or put a bounty on their head or threatened their families for leaving a bad review. Could you imagine that? Like, you leave a bad review at like a Burger King and it's like, okay, bitch, next time you show up, I'm gonna, shit your Whopper. And then track you down. I'm gonna find your dog and I'm gonna shit your dog's food bowl. How you like that?
Instead, I was gonna put the dog in my Whopper and then
yeah, your dog is gonna be the Whopper. Your family, your grandma, she's gonna be ground up into Whopper meat. How you like that? You better come back here and leave us a good review. I'm like, what the hell? That is crazy. So yeah, note to self: we make a trip to Japan. We don't go to many ramen shops. So I'm afraid to go to a ramen shop over there. So we're gonna wrap this up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Oh, come on. Okay. That's gonna be it for me for tonight. I just gotta eat something. I might come back before I pass out. We'll see though. Peace out, Frank Castle. What is this on Steam? Yeah, it's on Steam for $5, or you could get it on your phone for free. I think I prefer it like this on the computer. It's better. More space to see, no fingers in the way. But yeah. It's fun as fuck. I streamed it for almost 8 hours straight the day after I bought it. You were there for that stream. But yeah. I'll be back. But until then, stay metal. Hail Satan. Goodbye.
Death is great. Hail Satan.